is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Slowman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Slowman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Slowman Shield.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Hold on. Okay, now give us a yay or a nay. Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can you hear us? All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Now, okay, are we good? All right, now we're good. Okay, so welcome aboard. Got to start all over again as we come to you live from Homestead, Miami Speedway. You can hear the trucks behind me as semis are rolling in. If you check our Twitter feed and our Instagram feed, Big O Radio Show on Twitter. I mean on Instagram. On Twitter, it's just Big O Show, and you'll see the trucks. And you'll see, you got a second camera. Oh, you got the camera working, huh? There you go. There you go. So how about that? How about Sean? He's on top of it. Gives you a little bit of the atmosphere as the semis are rolling in. And I was just talking about this, that I'm a racing fan. There's no doubt about it. But I'm just more of a fan of it live. You know, when I'm watching it on television, it's cool, but it's when I'm live and I'm here at the track and you're here watching the race and you know the access that we have, and you got the trucks going and you're feeling the horsepower and you're hearing the engines and all that kind of stuff. I enjoy the hell out of it. It's really, really cool. I was talking to Sean about this years ago, decades ago. 30 years ago. I guess this track has got to be somewhere in the 25 to 30 range. Because I remember when it's, right in my early career, we were open here. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And once we lost Miami in the downtown area and all that stuff, they had to make this. So I remember being out here back in the days when I was in Radio Acción, 8:30 a.m., or working for 940 Wins. And I would come out here, and I would be out here for 4 days. Be broadcasting on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it was really cool. I remember meeting Walter Payton out here. Yep. Walter got into racing. He was part of a racing team. I think it was Penske, if I'm correct. I'm not exactly sure. Look up Walter Payton racing team. What was it part of? I want to say it was Penske. But anyway, so wow. Who was I just talking about? Wasn't Walter Payton 34? Or 44? 34, right? So number 34. There you go. Jesse. Wow. Talking about Walter, and a truck comes by with the number 34 vehicle in it. I think, right? Walter was 34, if I'm correct, right? And so I met Walter out here, and that was like, wow. You know? It was like the coolest thing. Because Walter Payton, Marino and Walter Payton are my favorite football players of all time. Okay? That's it. That's my pinnacle right there. Marino and Walter Payton. Bam. End of story. It's over. Okay? I admire a crap ton of other players, but if you ask me my two favorite players of all time, it's those two guys. It's Marino and Walter Payton. And got to meet Walter here and interview him. I wonder if I still have the interview somewhere. I wonder if I have it in a cassette somewhere. Because that's I remember back in the day I would record all my shows on cassette, and I still have a couple boxes just full of cassettes of old shows, man. It's crazy stuff. What is it again? Some kind of Cone? David Cone? David Cone from the Mets? I had no idea he was in racing.
Peyton Coyne, Coyne Racing.
Okay.
So he was part in there. And then Jesse Awuji is, I want to say it's Emmitt Smith, is part owner of, of that team with Jesse
number 34?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nice.
I believe that's
nice.
Emmett.
Yes, I have an Echo and the Bunnymen shirt. I'm an Echo and the Bunnymen fan. So figured today I'd give Echo a little love while we're out here at the track. And it's nice and cool, right? It's a comfortable atmosphere out here at the track. It's going to be fun today, man. It's going to be fun. Have you ever been on a radio show that travels this much, by the way? I feel great for Sean because Sean, you know, like deserved better in this business. Like a lot of us that really, work our asses off. And this has kind of been this experience on this platform has kind of been the pinnacle for him in traveling and doing different things and actually doing sports radio in different places, that kind of stuff. You were kind of stuck in a studio every time, right? Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. I hate studios. You know that? You can tell, right? I hate studios. And that's the other thing. People ask me, why don't you just record the show? And I'm like, no, dude. I love live. I like to have to ad lib. I'd like to have to be challenged constantly. I like the idea of doing things on the raw because I think that's when it comes out the best. If it's always like pre-programmed and pre-produced and all that kind of stuff, it's kind of cheesy, that kind of stuff. And I love being out on the road. I love doing shows in different places and talking to people and hanging out in different areas. As you all know, when not all of you, but some of you that have met me at different places, I'm the same dude that you see on air and outside. I love it, man. I think it's the best. I think it's the best for a show that the listeners like, okay, where are they going to be? Where are they going to go this time? That kind of stuff.
We need to slide back that way a little bit, I think.
That's right.
No, the mic. We don't have
well, but I'm kind of also
Alarmo's not in.
To the right a little bit
more. Alarmo's still not in.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. We'll get Alarmo in. Okay.
You don't have to really. It's the microphone more than
okay.
Than you.
Well, yeah, but then it then goes.
All right.
I got to move a little bit more so I can be at least a little because if not, I'm right here. And then it's like, hey, how you doing, guys? So you want to have a little bit more so you can see my expressions because sometimes I do a lot of talking with my face on this show. As those of you that watch the video, you'll know that sometimes I can tell you what I'm saying sometimes without actually even talking. So there you go. So, yeah.
No, I mean, the traveling, my oil change guy loves me. Let me tell you, I've never had so many oil changes and averaging about one a month right now.
That is awesome. Big O, are you hyped to see Jesse Davis? Oh, yeah. I want to reminisce about all the bad play. Let me reminisce about the days when Jesse Davis crippled Tua by busting up his ribs. Yep. I'm going to reminisce about mediocre O-line play. Yep. Nice guy, but it's only satisfactory for my man Omar. GP Trap Hewitt says, I got to meet Walter Payton back in 87, I believe, was a preseason game against the Finns. I got his autograph from my sister for Christmas. Nice. I like it. Peyton was so awesome, man. So awesome. Sean does everything with the exception of the Square Circle Digest show. Yeah, I know. What's going on with that? Jesus, that show. Wow. Did it get canceled or something? What happened? Did the network cancel it or something? What's going on? It's out of season. Okay. Are you ever going to do a show in Orlando, maybe during a Magic versus Heat game? Well, Brian, we may be doing a show in Orlando or in Kissimmee. I'm just saying. You mentioned it. I'm just saying. We could be in Orlando or Kissimmee one day. You just never know. Just telling you. But it won't be because of the Magic. I mean, it's no, that's not going to draw flies. But no, yeah, there might be something in the works. So you just never know what could happen. Okay? But it's a possibility. Big O, did you ever meet John Riggins? No, never met the Diesel. Never met. He's the original Diesel, right? Right? Because I don't believe anybody was called Diesel before John Riggins. It's not Shaq, by the way. John Riggins is the original Diesel. Shaq is the second Diesel. He's also Diesel, but right. But yeah. Yeah, no, I had never met him. Never met him. Just got nightmares of him as a Dolphins fan. Brooklyn Rob says, I had the pleasure of meeting Big O twice and have to say the most approachable guy to just hang out and talk with. Thank you, Brooklyn Rob. I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you. Taking advantage of a little extra dip there lately? This morning, baby. This morning I took a little dip. I took a little dip on the pool, which is really on the wall. I got a color TV so I can see the next play basketball. Him and talking about checkbook, credit cards, more money. Anyway, so Bitcoin dropped into the 18. And I said, dip, grab. Dip, grab. Grabbed a little Kusama also the last couple days. Kusama, this is just me. I'm not a financial consultant, a financial advisor, just a guy that loves crypto. But I love me some Kusama, man. And Kusama right now is in the mid-30s, which is an absolute joke. Okay? A joke. Do you know where Kusama was at? Kusama was at $500. So, just patience, that's all. You buy, you hodl, you hold, you wait. Slowly but surely, everything will come back. And when it does, Kusama, by the way, is the platform, the testing platform for Polkadot. And so Polkadot's another one that I'm a monster fan of. What's this cover seal we're watching here? Yeah, coin. Yes. G-Coin. I don't know anything about G-Coin. I've never heard of G-Coin in my life. I don't even know if it's crypto. It may not even be crypto. But I've never heard of G-Coin. So I'm not sure about that. But they got the coolest freaking trucks, don't they? Big Machine Vodka. Big Machine Vodka, spiked cooler.
I didn't realize I left that on. I apologize.
You should leave that. You should leave that whole camera up just for them.
Oh no, yeah, I was. I wanted to check something though, but just look at the trucks, the sponsorship that's on them. There's even ones on some of them on the bottom,
right?
That again, you got the large
Extra
sponsors, and then the other ones. I mean, it's just
they're like their cars.
Yeah,
they got a whole bunch of sponsors.
It's just amazing,
Yeah,
the sponsorship that goes into these. But again, it does cost a lot to run these cars, so it's not like
dude, these cars cost a crap ton of money. By the way, that Camaro looks badass. The Big Machine Vodka, that's stylish. That Camaro, the way that one's painted up.
It would be the Big Machine Vodka Spiked Cooler Camaro.
That's it.
Yes,
it's badass.
Number 48.
Number 48.
Xfinity.
That's a good looking car.
It is.
I don't know if he's a good racer, but he's a good looking car. That's for sure. So yeah, I like it. Frankie Fresco. He's got a super chat chiming in. Thank you, Frankie. He says, Rampage AEW for the Atlantic Coast Championship. Orange Cassidy versus Preston Vance. Versus Preston. Vance versus Rush. Who we taking? Okay, so Orlando Cassidy versus Preston. Well, listen, man. My best friend in the world was Bill Preston. So I've got to go with a Preston here against Cassidy. And then Vance versus Rush. Well, listen, Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson. Come on, bro. The late, great Neil Peart. I got to go with Rush here. So I'm going Preston and Rush here. I got you, Bill. Always got Bill's back. Always will. No matter what. All right? So there you go. You don't like my picks again. You like the Preston one for the reasons, of course, because you love Bill Preston like I do. But you just don't have them winning, huh? By the way, you can also make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. And by the way, we always love when you make a Bitcoin donation to our Cash App. That is awesome. Cash Big O Show. If if you want to send a little cash or Bitcoin, because we get 100% of the donation there on Super Chat. We don't, bro. You know, Ho Yoon sends in on Venmo. Thank you, Ho Yoon, as always, my brother. You are amazingly loyal. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. He says, happy Friday. Thank you, my friend. Very nice of you. So there you go. Greetings, Big O and Sean from Vegas. Appreciate the meetup at Tommy Rockers. Are you going to make it to the P1 out here in Vegas? Oh, well, yeah, we want to the P1, or does he mean what is that? The race? He's talking about F1, right? Right, but P1 is Poontang or something. Is that? There is a lot of Poontang in Vegas.
Yeah, but I don't think autocorrects a letter, does it? So
No.
Is there something else?
Yeah. The only problem is I don't really go to Vegas for Poontang. I go for, when I take my wife, then I have my Poontang with me. So, that's the good thing about having a wife. You have Poontang to go. You know what I'm saying? Poontang at home, Poontang wherever you want. You know what I'm saying? So you got to do it that way. But if it's the F1 race, not the Poontang race, yes, Sean and I want to be there for the F1 race. Yes, there's no doubt. I don't know if we'll be able to afford the tickets to get in the F1 race. No, we won't? Okay, he already finalized that.
I mean, I can only imagine what they're going to go for, what they were going for here in Miami. I can only imagine what the Vegas ones are going to go for.
I'm thinking we just get a hotel that is around the racetrack from above, and we broadcast right from the room.
I mean, you might be able to do it because they talked about using the strip for one of the things. They're going to close it down. So maybe, but how much would that cost? Because you don't think that they've already factored into those rooms.
Yeah, but at least we don't buy the tickets. Because then we still got to buy the room and the tickets.
Yeah, we got to. Might be cheaper. I mean, they got 7,000 rooms, but only a few that look over that strip there.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking for those days, I think we come up with a GoFundMe page. Send the Big O show to the F1 race in Vegas. We do that. So that way we can afford everything that we need to get, because obviously that ain't going to be cheap to go out there. What's that? So this is just like a mechanic hanging out. He's got extra tools. That's just a toolbox, right? That's what that is. Okay. See what you got? Huh? There's a car in there? Okay. All right. Is it like a truck? Is that one of those truck races? Oh, yeah? Okay. All right. It's got no name. It's got no.
A lot of.
I think this is a spare car. I think that's right. It's all dark. I mean, unless the Batmobile's in there.
Overkill Motorsports. What happens is some of these guys only race on certain tracks. Homestead's considered a safe track. You won't tear your car up. So sometimes teams that can't afford the cars to go to like Daytona and get in a big wreck, and then they can't race the rest of the year, they'll race at your Phoenix, your Homestead, the safer tracks. That's why they also do the championships at those tracks, because there's not a big wreck that might take out everybody that's going for the championship. So these are considered safer tracks. Now, can you have, car issues and things like that?
Well, yes, anybody can have that.
But there's usually no chance of a big
So this
wreck.
track isn't as challenging as some others that could cause
it's
wrecks?
got its challenges, but it's separate as far as you don't have everybody usually, like at Daytona. They're
that tri-oval thing?
No, but they're I can't even think of the damn name now. Damn it. And they're bumper to bumper, and they're going around the track, and then all it takes is one slip up, and then all of a sudden 12 cars are in the wreck, so the draft, sorry.
Okay.
They're not drafting around this track. They
I
usually
got
get
you.
spread out. Your lead changes are usually strategy or on the pits. There's usually not a lot of overtake or on the restarts.
I do a lot of drafting.
Yeah.
On I-95.
Nice. I know. Trust me. I know.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to do a lot of that.
Drafted down here.
That's right. So soon we'll come up with a GoFundMe page to take us to Vegas in the F1 race. Okay? Yeah. I shouldn't. When is that race already? I should start inquiring about that. I already have to start setting us up for our off-season trips for Senior Bowl and East West and all that. I got to start doing that already. Willie says, I remember the beginning to listening to your show, and Bill Preston was your right-hand man. Yes. Well, Bill Preston is my best friend. Not just, it was great that we got to work with each other. That was awesome working together, man. But more importantly, that was my best friend, man. And those are things you never recover from, man. That F's with you, man. God, that F's with you. When you're hanging out with a friend of yours for nearly 40 years, been your best friend going everywhere. It's life-changing, dude. Life-changing. It's really weird. Thoughts on the Christian McCaffrey trade? Well, I got to tell you something. I saw that last night. It breaks. And the 49ers trade for Christian McCaffrey. And I was always wondering what was going to happen in that trade. What were they going to have to give up? And the 49ers gave up a second, third, and fourth round picks in 2023 and a fifth round pick in 2024.
Wait, they get second, third, and fourth next year?
2023.
The Dolphins have their first.
They have
they have no picks until the fifth round at least.
They have a compensatory in the third because of Salah.
Okay.
They got an extra third because Salah went to the Jets. So this is the year they get that third. So they will have at least a third round pick. But
my goodness. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But
no. You're fine.
Like, wait a minute, that means they have no picks. Like they're banking a lot on this, huh?
I think this is an incredibly stupid ass trade. Okay, I wouldn't give up much for Christian McCaffrey. I know he's a hell of a player, but he's never healthy. And he plays a collision position. If you tell me that, okay, you're a quarterback, you can avoid things, Tua. But a running back, there's no avoiding contact. None. So I just, to me, it's okay. So now you're just going to watch Bosa, Garoppolo, and McCaffrey take turns going to the injured list. You really think that Christian McCaffrey's like the difference between you and look, I understand schematically what the head coach is thinking, Shanahan's thinking. It's kind of like what McDaniel and when Chris Greer goes down and tells McDaniel, hey, by the way, Tyreek's available. And right there, McDaniel's like, what? Really? Yeah. And that's his mind going, oh my God, the things I can do with him. I know we just got Cedric, but forget it. Cedric can be the third guy. And that's exactly what Chris Greer obviously was thinking when he told McDaniel that, because that's why he would go tell McDaniel, hey, this guy would be awesome in your system. And sure enough. So I get what they want to do with McCaffrey, that he is a mismatch nightmare. I totally understand football-wise what they're trying to do, and it makes all the sense in the world on the football side of it. But there's more to it than just football, ladies and gentlemen. You got to be available so you can enjoy those football moments. And that's the problem. He's not available all the time. So that's an issue. And there's no way I would trade all those picks for Christian McCaffrey. I would trade those picks for somebody if that's what I'm that person away from winning a title. I don't even believe you have the quarterback that can get you to a title. Jimmy Garoppolo has never proven to be clutch. And I'm a Jimmy Garoppolo guy, but you got to admit when you're wrong. And he just doesn't have it. So I don't believe you're a Super Bowl contender. Let's say you were a Super Bowl contender, then I kind of understand it. That, okay, you're taking a monster gamble because this is your Super Bowl run. Yeah. I just don't believe that. I just don't believe it. And so to me, this was an absolutely terrible move by San Francisco. The risk here is not worth what you gave up. 4 picks for the guy, a second, a third, a fourth, and then next year a fifth. You're out of your mind. For an injury-prone player, it makes no sense whatsoever. So that's my thoughts on that Christian McCaffrey trade. To me, it just doesn't make sense. Kind of like, the Miami Heat signing Kyle Lowry to a $90 million contract. It made no sense to me then either. A year later, still not making any sense to me. Kind of the same thing. Let's see. What else do we have? They gave all that up for an injury-prone back. Yes, they did. Oh, when you come to the Senior Bowl, remember that I have a camping space at the Pensacola Fairgrounds reserved for you and Sean. I can't wait. Thank you, sir. We've got our trailer. We're ready to go. I like it. What's that? What we should do? We should do something different this year for the Senior Bowl. We should actually we should rent a Winnebago. That way we don't have to rent a hotel or a car, and we just drive and we just broadcast from the Winnebago. No, you don't like that idea? No, I'm dead serious. It's something that it might be interesting because I'm thinking we could park right outside the stadium and do the show right there.
So it's me and you in a Winnebago for a week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, what could go wrong?
What's the difference between a Winnebago and a car trip? We're driving a Senior
You do
Bowl.
understand, the Winnebago is like that right there. There's.
I've driven big ass vehicles, right?
I understand that.
I grew up with my dad was a truck driver, bro.
We don't have separate rooms. We don't have.
I was taught to drive a semi when I was 15 years old.
Oh, I'm not saying anything about driving it.
Actually, 14.
There's no space in a
14.
Winnebago for, two guys our size equipment setting up the podcast in there.
Oh, there's plenty of space.
And
plenty of space.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, you think I'm getting a small Winnebago?
I mean,
I don't
as big as I get round. I'm round. I'm just saying.
Do I get cheap places for us to stay, by the way?
No, I'm not saying
Okay.
that. I just don't know about two guys for a week in a Winnebago. That sounds like a reality show.
Now, if you worked at 640 or 560, yeah, you're gonna go to a shitty place. Yeah, they'll get you a Pinto, and they'll get you a semi days in. It's called like a midnight in or something. They'll lock you in on.
It's semi days in.
Boy, these places are the cheapest freaking outfits out there. It just drove me crazy how these corporations treat their employees, man. Broadcast from the top of the Winnebago. That's an idea, Brian. That's an idea. I like that. Now, Sean will run it from down. He's not getting up on the Winnebago. I can tell you that already.
Listen, what happened last week? There's nothing about me that says run.
Right.
And nothing about me says up.
Right. Climb.
Well, yes.
Climb. Right. That's what it's all about.
Thanks for correcting me.
Especially equipment, too, on top of all of that.
Yes. Catch the table.
Yeah.
Here comes the mixer.
I love it. Big O, my favorite players from all time. Oh, Ira's in? Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. He says, Big O, my favorite player from all time also is Marino and Walter Payton, then Barry Sanders. Well, there you go. That's a nice combination. All righty, let's get to it. Let's talk to a man that covers a team that also made a bad signing, just like the Niners made a bad trade yesterday. Let's talk to Ira Winderman. And, of course, these are the days of Kyle Lowry and the Miami Heat.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
Yes, follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeats. And, of course, catch him 3 times a week here. And as I told you the other night, Ira, I still hate that effing contract of Kyle Lowry. Wow.
You know, Big O, one game. It's just one game. He was injured in the playoffs. He helped the Heat to the best record in the Eastern Conference last season. It was just one game. And the thing I love about our accurate Pembroke Pines reports is this. I can talk to you on Monday at 10:30 after it'll have been 3 games, and we'll have a better idea. So I would hold the violins right now. And based on the way you're holding it, I don't even know if you know how to play a goddamn violin anyway.
Well, what do you think I am, a violinist? No, I don't even know how to do air violin. Air guitar I can do, but I can't do air violin. But, Bam, I chalk it up to a bad night. Why? Because you've earned the track record with me. I know your effort's going to be awesome. I know you'll be back to being the super role player that you are, and you'll score your points, and you'll hit those bunnies around the paint. So Bam having a bad night the other night, I don't worry about it. The Heat having a bad night the other night, I don't worry about it. But I'm sorry, after watching the entire season and then your standoff press conferences about your weight issues, and then this is how you start the season, and to me, it bothers me. So I can't. There are no more excuses for Kyle Lowry. He ran out of excuses during last season. It's time to put up already. Look, it's what I talked about the last couple of weeks. I've talked about this. Nobody gives a shit what Tyreek Hill did in Kansas City. And I was talking about this with Teron Armstead. I said, if he goes on in this direction, it's going to become a terrible deal because nobody gives a shit what you did in New Orleans. You signed a big contract here. You need to produce here. Nobody cares what you did in Toronto, Kyle. And I would figure that it's important to him to prove that he's worthy of that contract, and he has yet to do it. And I think that's insulting to the Heat and to Pat Riley.
He helped produce the best record in the Eastern Conference last season. Now, I know, Big O, it's about what have you done for me in the playoffs. I understand that. But let's not lose sight or traction of also how this started. We were talking, and Eric Spoelstra was talking, and NBA insiders were talking last February about Kyle Lowry being a candidate for the All-Star game. They were. Now, if you're going to get me to sit here and talk about Wednesday night and defend Kyle Lowry, I can't. He wasn't just terrible. He was awful. And I agree with that. But as someone like you who knows, unlike the NFL, when a bad game or a bad move impacts 1/17th of your season every time you're out on the court, this was 1/82nd of the season. And again, honestly, that's why I like what we do on this station, on your show, more than any place else. We constantly get to revisit. We get to update. I will be back on Monday. We will see if Kyle Lowry steps up against the Celtics, which he couldn't during the playoffs because of his injury. We'll see if he steps up against his former team, the Toronto Raptors, instead of some emotional reunion game in Toronto. There still is time. But yes, I agree. It's interesting.
It's a concern. It has to be a concern, Ira.
Yes, it does. And rarely would I tell you that game 2 of an 82-game NBA season is particularly meaningful. But I think for Kyle Lowry, it is tonight because you need to get rid of that. And here's the thing, Big O.
And one more thing, Ira. One more thing.
Sure.
The guy he was facing that night was his former teammate. His former teammate played at an MVP level last year.
As he did, yes.
Signing a big contract. And how did he start the season? With an ass-kicking performance. And he took a lot of pride. I'm watching a guy take a lot of pride after he left Toronto and won a championship actually they traded him away and they won the championship. And then I'm looking at Kyle Lowry, and I don't see the same kind of pride in his game, the same kind of fire. And to me, that's the other thing that's kind of disturbing because if you look
I agree with that. I agree with that. There have been times watching Kyle Lowry where it's almost like, what's the minimum I can do for this team to survive?
Yes.
And how can I preserve myself in a contract that runs through age 38? I agree with all that. And everything, the limiter has to be taken off. It has to be all out. It can't be you have to wait. Big O, this team is open for the first time ever with a 4-game homestand. That has never happened in the 35 years of the team. They damn well better come out of this 3-1 for this reason. Then they go out for a 3-game Western swing, which includes the Golden State Warriors on the second night of a back-to-back set. That's a schedule loss from the moment the schedule came out.
Yes.
So they better go out west in good shape, or else they're going to come back home in tougher shape. Yes, that was more than just one loss. That was more than just one disappointment from Kyle Lowry. And again, if this happens again tonight against the Boston Celtics, and this happens tomorrow night against the Toronto Raptors, then I will be here on Monday in our Accurate Pembroke Pines report agreeing with every single take you had. That's the thing. It might not be go time yet for Jimmy Butler. He's proven it. He's done it.
Oh, he's awesome, dude. He's awesome.
It might not be go time for Bam Adebayo because he played hard.
He leaves it all there. I don't have a problem with Bam
Didn't play
at all.
well, but he played hard. It's not go time for Max Strus in his reserve role. He was fine on Wednesday night. But I agree, these next two, yes, we can inspect a little more what Kyle Lowry is doing because we expected a little bit more. I agree. You know what? I would say this. That might have been one of the most disappointing Miami Heat season opening nights since that 2006 after they won the championship and got stomped by, I think it was like 48 points by Joakim Noah and the Chicago Bulls. That was not a way to start it. The beauty is this. National TV tonight, Boston Celtics. If ever you can make a statement, it's against the team that came on your home court on May 28th in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals and stole your soul. Now is payback time.
The thing I will also agree with Spo on was the defense. Were you surprised that it wasn't any good the other night?
You know, this will sound harsh, but it's hard to play good defense with Tyler Hero out there because he is such a net negative defender.
Or Kyle Lowry.
You can talk team defense, Big O, all you want, but they were isolating. They were picking on the weak link. That's what opposing teams do in today's pick-and-roll NBA. So I think Eric Spoelstra had to go to school for that a little. Again, I am not in favor of starting Tyler Hero. I understand the contract. I understand the ego. I get all of that. But if you put Max Strus in your starting lineup, you have a better balance with shooting. And with Victor Oladipo sidelined, if you put Tyler Hero in the second unit, you have the shot creator that they utterly are lacking. So again, you know, we always talk about the Miami Heat. It's all about the team, right? It's all about 12 men on a rope and all this BS. Well, the best way for Tyler Hero to help the Heat right now is to play on the second unit, at least until Victor Oladipo can come around and be that second unit playmaker. But we know this is a league of salary. We know this is a league of ego.
What's the latest with Depot?
There is no latest, and that's the concern, that all of a sudden, in the Bahamas in the preseason, Eric Spoelstra, don't worry, he's just working his way back. We're going light on him. He'll be right when he's right. Hey, I was fine 2 years ago when he got traded from Houston and was injured. We knew he wouldn't be back, went up for that dunk, got hurt again. I was fine after the quadriceps surgery when they said last year's a wash. You and I were in our Accurate Pembroke Pines reports in October, November, December. When's he coming back? But all the while we understood he'll come back when the time is right. I was very encouraged with his defense and play at times, even in the NBA Finals in last year's playoffs. He had like a 28-point game against Boston. I am very surprised right now that you and I are sitting here in October 2022 talking about Victor Oladipo yet to start his season. There seemingly is something more there, or, Big O, he simply is unable to recapture what he was before. And when you're talking about the bad McCaffrey deal, when you're talking about the bad Lowry deal, you know what, Big O? 2 years and $18 million at Victor Oladipo might be one of those bad deals you'll be talking to me about soon on our Accurate Pembroke Pines reports as well.
All right, Celtics, man. I'm pretty fearful of this game. I gotta say, they looked good the other day. Brogdon looked like he fit.
Yes,
there was chemistry. That you could tell that they look a little hungry from how things ended last year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I this is one of those games that I hope the Heat. You know what? It's a nice early season test to see if this team can find an A game, because they're going to need an A game tonight.
Right. And again, it's the first night of a back-to-back, so you go all in on this. You worry about Toronto tomorrow. How ironic, a year ago, people were saying, oh, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown can't play together and you got to break them up, or you show patience and they each score 35 points in the opener. They're not quite the defensive team without Robert Williams, so you have an advantage there. As it turns out, with Jason Tatum playing power forward, Caleb Martin probably is the right matchup in going a little smaller in this particular matchup. So you can have Jimmy Butler on one. You can have Caleb Martin on one of the two Jasons. We'll see if they are the lockdown defenders. They still stay they are. So what do you need then? If Jimmy's expending energy on defense, and if Caleb's expending energy on defense, you need a Kyle Lowry to step up.
Right.
You need him to get some points against Marcus Smart and not let Marcus Smart get off on the defensive end, because that really fuels the Celtics as well. So, yeah, you need all your guys. Boston's a little shorthanded depth-wise by starting Derek White. Really, Brogdon is their only bench player of note now that Williams and Gallinari are out. So, again, if this depth is our strength mantra from the Heat, then show it tonight. Show your second unit to provide a little bit more than just what Max Strus gave you in Game 1.
Remember, you can follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. And, of course, you can catch his work here a couple times a week with our accurate Pembroke Pines Miami Heat report. And, of course, on Wednesdays, the Red Recover Inside the Paint Show, one hardcore hour of Miami Heat and NBA talk. By the way, Ira, UD is the master of ceremonies here for the race at Homestead. We're in Homestead, by the way. I don't know if you know that. But
Yes.
we're in Homestead, and UD is the master of ceremonies. Did you know that?
Yeah, I mean, he's injected himself into just about everything down here. I am surprised he hasn't bought a pro pickleball team down here with our older population. But knowing UD, if he sees money in it, that'll follow also. Look, I think UD should enjoy every step of this ride. And what I like about this ride about UD, he's given us finality. It's not going to maybe one more year. We'll see after this year. That's what made the last couple of years so awkward with UD. It's like, is he just collecting every last check he can find? Okay, this is your last year. Go down to Homestead Miami Speedway. Enjoy your day at the races. Go out there, be public, be involved in everything. He deserves this ride. They have the roster spot available. When we see, and we'll talk about this, a game when they could have used another body, we'll address it then. We don't have to address it now. They're not going 15, 16 deep. They have a two-way player already set up who can already help them in Jamal Cain. So they really have 16 instead of 14 right now. So I'm all for UD absolutely savoring every moment of the ride. I also like that he's not getting caught up in these whole jersey swaps, that he's not making himself the thing. It's one thing when Dwayne Wade does it. Every NBA player wants a Dwayne Wade jersey on their wall. UD, God bless him, maybe not so much.
Well, hey, listen, here in Miami, a lot of fans would like a UD jersey on their wall. So, you know, he's got plenty of people in Miami.
What he's done for us. And you know what, Big O, as soon as he's done wearing the jersey, next season it goes to the rafters. We all know that.
All right, so in a game where you don't score as much as you need against the Bulls, and it's funny because, you know, last year he was kind of the butt of all the jokes and all that stuff. Did they give Duncan Robinson enough playing time in the first night since they need a little more offense? Because I'm looking at a guy that only shot 4 times, and I'm thinking, you know, he shot pretty well in the preseason, so why not unleash the Duncan Meister a little bit more?
Because of the awkwardness of the rotation and what I spoke to you about starting hero. If I had Max Strus in the first unit, Max had a great game. He made 5 3-pointers. He should have been the one taking the shots, but now he's playing alongside Duncan. So you have two guys who are very similar there. I don't understand the rotation now. I'll understand it when Victor Oladipo comes back. So you talk about a lack of offense. Who the hell creates points on that second unit right now? You're asking Gabe Vincent to be playing in attack mode? You don't have that. That's the problem right now with this mix. You know, sometimes a subtle little injury affects a bigger thing. Without Oladipo, you're playing Duncan and Max together. They're the same player. I mean, Max laughed with me in the offseason. I said, are you the same person? Until this year, we never saw you in the same place at the same time. There's a reason for that. There's too much overlap. If you're starting Max and you're playing Tyler with the second unit, then Duncan can space the floor for Tyler. You can get those driving kicks a little bit more. And instead, it's all about ego, so Tyler starts.
All right. What are you working on the Sun Sentinel, my friend? So folks can check you out leading up to the Celtics tonight and the Raptors tomorrow.
A few things. I did an Ask Ira today saying, are there too many alphas in the Heat starting lineup? Again, going back with Tyler Hero. That if Tyler wants the ball, the Bam wants the ball, and Jimmy wants the ball, maybe this is all we get from Kyle Lowry because he's being too deferential to guys who want the ball. Posted that already. That's online. Did a story about Max Strus playing as a reserve and saying, you know what? Even though he's not a leading man, he played the entire playoffs as a starter. He played the last 2 weeks, the last regular season as a starter. So it is a little bit of an adjustment. That's what they're going through. Max said, look, 13 guys are back, but we're in different roles. That might take some time. We certainly saw that in the opener. And just for you, Big O, I'm working on my Sunday column. We posted Sunday in the paper, Saturday online. I looked at every major contract the Heat gave to a player, 30 years and older. Which ones worked out, which ones didn't. Shaquille O'Neal at 33 got a 5-year deal. Only stayed for 3 years, but they got a championship. Mike Miller at 30 got a 5-year deal, was amnestied after 3, but they got 2 championships. Tim Hardaway got a $12 million deal at 33 and a bunch of weigh-ins. And then the other contracts, the James Johnsons, the other players in the 30s that didn't work out. So for those weighing Jimmy Butler, which I still think is a good contract.
No, that one still has worked out. What hasn't worked out with the Jimmy Butler deal is what I've thought of from the get-go, that you had to get that superstar and pair him with him early in this process. And now you have failed. What is this? Is year 3 now with Butler or 4?
This is year 1 of his extension, but year 3 of Jimmy being with the Heat. Correct.
So that's my problem now. You've gone through 3 years. You're going to put 3 years of wear and tear on his body, and you didn't pair him with that other superstar so you can go get a title. I don't know if it'll ever happen with Butler. So he gave you your money's worth, but you as an organization failed to pair him with that other star that really could have lifted the Heat. And
yet, Big O, he picked Kyle Lowry. And if it wasn't for Jimmy Butler pushing, they wouldn't have made that deal. So you know what? Be careful of what you ask for. He got what he wanted. Now he has to help make that work as well. Anyway, that'll be in Sunday's paper online tomorrow. But it's really interesting because Pat, over his 25 years plus with the Heat, has paid a lot of 30-somethings, a lot of money. Sometimes it works. Now we wait on Butler and Lowry to see if it works again.
Yeah, hey, listen. LeBron James wanted some point guard out of the draft, and sometimes you just can't make these players general managers. Sometimes they just need to be players, and you handle, the business. The Mike Miller thing was a great example. LeBron got all pissed, but Mike was a sack of injuries and broken down. He really only had that one season and really a couple of games in that season.
With the shoe and a couple of others.
Yeah.
But LeBron, that was the first move the Heat made when they got the big 3. LeBron said, get him. They traded Michael Beasley off to the Timberwolves. They amnestied Mike Miller at the end because it didn't work out well. So again, when you give decent money to 30-something, sometimes you get Ray Allen, sometimes you get Shane Battier, and sometimes you get guys who just can't make it to the finish line.
Yeah. Those 2 guys you mentioned are pros. That's why you got the most out of them. All right, follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. Ira, have a fantastic weekend. We will be following your coverage of the Miami Heat this weekend. Thank you.
Back Monday, 10:30 a.m., Acura Pembroke Pines Report with the Kyle Lowry Report. Thank you, Big O.
Yes, sir. You got it. The KL Report. And, of course, Acura Pembroke Pines, 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Tell them that Big O sent you. They'll take care of you right there at the finest dealership in the business. Craig Zins, Acura of Pembroke Pines.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA Report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's in Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
We're back. By the way, I want to tell you a little bit about Hijinks Sports Grill. And, of course, proud sponsors of the Joe Shad reports, which are coming up at 11:30. They've got game day vodka specials. I'm sorry. Did I say Hijinks? I meant Walk-Ons. We're going to be at Walk-Ons tomorrow. So Walk-Ons tomorrow, game day vodka specials, $5.50 from noon to 9 p.m. They've got a big Halloween event coming up. They've got $100 for the best decorated trunk, costumes contest, and kids will eat free with paying adults. They've got a great happy hour right now. They are collecting toys for tots, so they've got a collection bin there. It's right in front of where we broadcast every Saturday. So come on out here. They've got karaoke nights coming up, Latin nights. So check it out. And they've got 2 other great locations, not only in Kendall, but for our friends in the Kissimmee and Orlando areas. They've got one in Kissimmee in 3177 Black Lake Road in Kissimmee, and in Orlando, 8151 International Drive. So check it out. You never know. We might be visiting those places down the line. So great indoor and outdoor seating. It's an impeccable restaurant. I'll tell you something about Walk-Ons. The service. Something that is hard to find in a lot of places nowadays. Service is excellent. They do a really good job over there, man. So check it out. And we'll be there tomorrow broadcasting live starting off at 10:30. They open the doors at 11. Canes game is at 12:30 with Duke. We give away prizes every quarter. Perdomo, Caneswear, and we're going to have Edge Energy Drink out there, baby. Can't beat that, man. That is going to be absolutely awesome. All right. So there you go. So come on out to Walk-Ons in Kendall, right off of Kendall Drive and 62nd Avenue. Walk-Ons. Come on out and join us. Love it. All right. 855-912-1056 on the Welt and Rayom text line. That's 855-912-1056 on the Welt and Rayom text line. You can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. We are out here at the Homestead Miami Speedway, having some fun, enjoying ourselves. All right, looking at Bitcoin back over 19. Those of you that got it in the 18 area, good for you. There you go. Dips, dips, dips. Keep taking dips, and we'll keep ripping it, baby. We'll rip the dips. So we've got the Heat and the Celtics tonight. Oladipo not in. Kyle Lowry, we will find out if the unreliable can become reliable. Does Kyle Lowry know that he's unreliable? Because this isn't Toronto. We've got the Panthers in action tonight. What a game. The Lightning and Florida. The Lightning are 1-3, bro.
They kind of remind me of
the Patriots. They start slow.
They start slow and then they just end up like they just try stuff and then like, okay, you know what? We start seeing it and then they start mixing it together. It's so weird, man.
Yeah. No, I got you.
But also they know what they have. They got the same team again almost.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
It's just crazy how they stay together.
1-3 right now. So but this is you got to keep going, baby. And now you got Aaron Ekblad on long-term IR. God, that guy is a sack of injuries. What a disappointment.
Does he rush back too quickly?
No,
I mean, I know you get cleared by your doctors and all that, but
he's just injury prone, bro. That's all.
Man.
Dude, season just started.
I know, but every
he's
time
been
it's
off the whole
off
offseason.
Body, his leg, it's always
right.
It was the
ankle this time, I think.
This time, and it was the knee. It just seems like
dude was off the entire offseason. He should be 100% healthy right now. And immediately he got injured.
I mean, unless he's trying to do something in the offseason that doesn't work.
No, it was when he fell on that.
Well, no, I mean, but I'm saying
right?
He works too hard in the offseason as far as, and then by the time you get there, you just
some guys just can't stay healthy.
Yeah, but when they weren't winning, I felt like he was staying normal.
Healthy. They're human beings. The other guys, those guys are freaks. Those guys are not normal.
Aaron Ekblad's been on the team how long?
Ekblad is a normal person that gets injured a lot because if we played hockey, he would be injured all the time.
I'd get injured stepping on the ice. But,
exactly.
But how long has Aaron Ekblad been with the team?
Oh, God. This is like year 8, I want to say.
But the injuries haven't started until they started winning.
Yeah, injuries been going on the last
3 years. The last 3, definitely.
Yeah, I'd say it's maybe more like 5.
Because last year they ended up doing what the Lightning did, and they brought him back right before the playoffs.
Let's bring up Aaron Ekblad's.
I almost feel like it's been the last 3 years.
Okay, let's see. Okay, let's bring up his stats because I want to say it's been longer that he has missed all kinds of games. So let's see how many games he's played throughout his career. But he is a major disappointment, dude. Like a major disappointment. This is one contract that has turned out to be absolutely horrible. Let's see, 81, 78, 68, 82, 82, 67, 35, 61, and now this year. So you're right. The last three, then he went on 2 years of 82, and then before that, it was 68 and 78. 78's not bad. 68, you missed
a little bit,
yeah, 68, you missed a lot of games there. Okay, 16, 17, and then he went on 2 good years, and then after that, it's been 3 terrible years. He's played 67, 35, and 61 games, and now he's probably going to be somewhere in the area of 50 and 60 again.
Yeah, but you're right. That 60-80 was an injury there too, so it's not. It's like I guess maybe he thought he had it.
He got lucky for those 2 years.
2 years. Wow.
Because that's not the norm. Is for him to break down, not to actually last.
I always feel like we're right there, and then Ekblad gets injured, and then it's like, oh.
Yep.
But hey, at least this year, it's at the beginning of the season, and now we get but they definitely got to get some defensive men because I think they've been playing like 12-5 right now.
You want to laugh? Last year he played 61 games and he had 57 points. The years he played 82 games, he had 38 and 37 points.
Yeah, I feel like that's when they were not doing so well, right?
Right. But he wasn't that, he wasn't really producing a lot.
I feel
for playing 82. Now,
were they loafing
3 years ago when he played 67, he scored 41. When he played 35, he scored 22. And when he played 61, he scored 57. So far, he's got a point in 3 games that he played.
Wow.
Yeah. He's a disappointment, that's all. He's unreliable. And when you're unreliable, you're a disappointment. That's all. If people can't count on you, you're a disappointment. And Aaron Ekblad is a major disappointment to the Florida Panthers. Maybe he should use a lot of Red Recover. That might help him optimize it before and after the workouts. I've been telling you about Red Recover now for years. No, for months now. But I've been taking it for about a year now, actually, wearing my hat, growing my hair back. But, all the other things that I've learned about red light therapy, and it's great for everybody, from your dogs to your kids to yourself. Why? Because it's all natural. There are no side effects. There's no drugs. There's no nothing. It's just red light therapy, and it's done within minutes. The pads are put on for 5 or 15 minutes, depending on what kind of pads for what part of your body. And you think about it, 15 minutes while you're hanging around your house, not a big deal. And it's not tied to an electrical cable. So if you got to put your wrap on your elbow, you can go walk around your house or in your office, keep typing, doing whatever you got to do, and you keep going. You want to put a wrap on your neck, your shoulders, your back, your knees, your ankles. They've got it all for you, man. You got that tennis elbow, redrecover.com. How about this? You're going to go play a little pickleball, a little tennis ball. You're going to go jogging or running or doing weights. Red Recover is great for before and after your workouts. It optimizes your workouts. It gets the blood flow going. It allows you to really maximize those workouts and feel better and recover faster from those workouts. The benefits from redrecover.com are endless. Go to the website, check out the video blogs, check out all the blogs, and use our code Big O. You will get 10% off. The wraps are incredibly affordable. They've got a wrap now that I just got it for my wife for the bottom of her feet. She's a teacher, standing all day. So if you're in a job that you're standing all day and your feet are sore, those Red Recover wraps and that red light therapy on the bottom of your feet, it is just absolutely amazing. Check it out. Go to redrecover.com. Use our code Big O. Get 10% off. redrecover.com. All right. Let's switch gears. Let's talk a little Miami Hurricanes. Let's get ready for a little Canes and Duke. We're going to be over at Walk-Ons in Kendall tomorrow morning, giving away all kinds of prizes and all kinds of stuff in every quarter. So come on out and join us. And a guy that will be joining us in the postgame show, he's going to join us right now, Manny Navarro, in our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All right. Before I get to Manny here, I got to ask you something, Sean. Why didn't Sunoco just dominate the entire country? They're trusted in racing fuel and airplane fuel. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's funny because Sunoco was enormous when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then it died down. And then
you'll find one every once in a while.
And you wouldn't know. For a while, you wouldn't even find a Sunoco. Then they started to make a little bit of a comeback, and now you'll see Sunocos every once in a while in different places.
But is it a regional thing, though? Like,
I don't know, but like if you go to airports, they're filling the damn planes. Mm-hmm. And then we're here on the track, and Sunoco dominates, and it's all and then I'm thinking, like, what happened to our cars? Like, are they giving us the shitty gas? Saving all the good gas for the race cars and for the planes? I'm just saying. Just saying. All right. Plus, it's a cool looking brand, Sunoco. Okay. Thank you. All right. Let's get to a little Miami Hurricanes. Can they use a little jet fuel this week for that offense, that defense there, Manny?
They might need some jet fuel, man. I mean, Duke's not a bad football team. They should have beaten North Carolina last week, and they're 4-3. And quarterback's a good player. They got a good guy at quarterback. They got a defense that plays scrappy under Mike Elko. So they'll need some jet fuel to win this week. Somebody's gonna have to make some plays for Miami.
By the way, isn't it interesting that Sunoco dominates?
Yeah, it is.
Gas for race cars.
Right.
And then every plane you fly in is pretty much filled in by Sunoco gas.
Right.
And how have they not dominated gas period for our cars?
I guess they dominate there. They dominate there and let everybody else fight over the consumer products. Maybe that's where that's how they survive.
I guess. But it's like what I was telling you. Remember, when we were kids, Sunoco was around, and then it kind of died out, and then it's made a little bit of a comeback, and now there are more Sunoco stations you'll run into. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I always find myself that if I need gas and I see a Sunoco, I always stop at Sunoco because I say, if these mother effers can fill race cars and airplanes, then I can trust them for my car. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Marathon or Sunoco. No, I'm going to go Sunoco, bro. Come on, Anyway, these are things that just go through my mind. I don't know. What can I tell you? All right. So, tomorrow when we're at Walk-Ons,
mm-hmm.
I mean, the good thing is we'll be enjoying some delicious food, but I'm just afraid that the food, after a while may not feel good because I'm watching that game. So how much should we be fearful? Because you kind of gave us a little taste of it. Like, hey, Canes fans, don't think you've got this one in the bag right away. You're going to have to earn this bitch.
Well, I think Mario pretty much said it right a couple of weeks ago when he said we're not the kind of team that can blow anybody away. They're going to win most games by a touchdown or less, and I think last week was proof of it. Even if you're up 20-0 at Virginia Tech and playing really well through three quarters, this is the kind of team that we've seen fall apart rather quickly, right? Or struggled at the beginning mostly.
Yes.
In fact, I would say it's more the other way around. Usually they're fighting back to win a game. Than they are jumping out in front and taking a big lead. So, I think it's going to be a dogfight this week. I know the line is close to 9 points now or whatever.
9 points now. Miami over and under is 58.
I would be stunned.
And Miami is minus 325 on the money line. So Vegas has a lot of confidence in this game, more than I have.
Well, maybe I would say the only thing that might happen to Duke is they played such an emotional game last week, right? And they've lost a couple now in a row by a field goal or less. With what happened with UNC and then with Georgia Tech as well. That maybe that's kind of wearing on them a little bit emotionally, but I don't think this is the kind of group that's going to carry that with them. They've lost. They lost to Kansas early in the year, came back, played well. And to me, I think, Miami's the more emotional wreck these days than Duke is.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I worry about it, man, big time with this game. Running, how important will it be? I mean, it's always important, but I just feel like you got to be able to run the ball in this game.
Well, you got to be able to, and ultimately that's why Mario cares so much about it, because the teams that win are able to do both. You can't just throw the ball all over the yard and get big plays and win. I mean, it'd be great if you could score 8 touchdowns with 50-yard bombs down the field with Tyler Van Dyke. That's just not realistic. I mean, this team has to sort of chop its way up and down the field, and you need the running game to keep the other team honest. And so if Henry Parrish is back this week, which is what most expect, then that'll definitely help the running game. I mentioned it on your show before. I think our Tuesday night show, that he's the 4th most elusive back in the ACC, and the guys in front of him are all legit dudes. So it's not like it's some bogus stat. Izzy Nakanda from Pittsburgh, the kid from Clemson, those are the guys kind of sitting in front of him in that category. So obviously Parrish is a good player. He's averaging close to 5 yards a carry. I just think, the offensive line, they got to help him a little bit more, get a little bit more pushed. I will say this Duke defensive line isn't bad. They've got some good players there, especially the defensive tackle. So I think, it won't be easy for Miami to just come out and run for 200 yards in this game. But if they can run for 120, 130, have a little bit more balance, that'll help their cause.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it would help the cause. It would help Van Dyke. It would make his life a little easier. You can keep their offense, off the field. Hey, listen, for the offensive line, that's going to be a challenge against that defensive line. They've got some guys that can push some people around.
They do, and they can get to the quarterback. They can, and one thing Duke does really well is protect the quarterback. And I don't know how much of that is just Riley Leonard being elusive back there, but they do a pretty good job protecting the quarterback as well. They don't give up a ton of sacks, which really that's Miami's strength, right? The last 2 weeks they have 11 sacks. And putting pressure on opposing quarterbacks with just 4. That's why Miami is still capable of winning right now. Because they're only scoring in the 20s. They're not putting up a ton of points, and the reason why they're in these games with North Carolina, with Virginia Tech last week, is because their defensive line is so dominant up front, and you have guys like Akeem Mesidor making plays. This is the kind of game where it's going to be more important to stop Riley Leonard when he takes off and runs than it is necessarily getting him down and sacking him, because that's what makes Duke tough to stop, is when Leonard is on the run and he's making plays with his feet. So that'll be the important factor in today's game, or tomorrow's game.
Tomorrow's game, yes.
Yeah.
We look at the wide receivers. I think are we watching them turn the corner finally now with Colby and
you got to give
those guys now. It looks like they finally found the guys that they can count on, and hopefully also the tight end can play, because I think Mallory has been a real difference maker this year when he's on the field.
Yeah, the last few weeks Mallory's been really, really good, and really, started to play like the guy you hoped he could be. That's going to be important for Miami. I don't know if it's between the concussion or the shoulder. He's injured the shoulder in the past, so I kind of give it a joint type of injury type thing. You hope that he was able to get some practices in this week and actually be out there. We don't know, because Mario doesn't even let us out on the field anymore. Ever since we were reporting on injuries. So it's tough for us to get any intel on that with our own eyes. We have to depend on others. So if Mallory doesn't play this week, you'll see, some of their other guys like Jaleel Skinner who can make some plays in the passing game. But you're right. I mean, they need their tight ends in this game. I do think the receivers have turned the corner, and you have to give Josh Gaddis credit. When the season started, to lose Xavier Restrepo after 2 games, didn't help things. He's your most dependable guy, and now you had to kind of groom other guys to get ready. And Colby Young what he's done the last 5 quarters, because he didn't even play the first 3 quarters against North Carolina, just the 4th quarter. But these last 5 quarters have been really, really impressive. It feels like they've got a true number 1 receiver now with Colby Young, and I mean that in the sense of true number 1 in the ACC, not when you have to go play real teams. I think Colby Young is probably more like a number 2 in a big time offense, but very good, reliable hands, big guy. And Frank Ladson is becoming reliable, which he really wasn't for most of his career. So I think those 2 guys, and then Brashard Smith in the slot, some of the catches he made last week were impressive.
How concerned should you be, or we all should be, about the secondary going up against Duke?
Well, that's the ultimately what this team's when the defense breaks down, it's because the safeties gamble, because they make dumb plays, right? When Cam Kitchens and James Williams, don't do their job, if they blow an assignment off, they don't drop back in coverage, or they come up and they miss a tackle. I mean, that's the last line of defense. So you need those guys to play excellent this week. It's going to be a challenge with Riley Leonard taking off and running. It's going to be a challenge for Corey Flagg. We know he doesn't have the speed to keep up with these quarterbacks out of the backfield. Keontre Smith, those are the guys. Wesley Basaint, now that he's starting to get better at linebacker, those are the guys that are going to be key in this game. Duke's has some receivers that can make plays, but I don't fear Duke's receivers. I don't go into this game saying, man, there's NFL guys at the wideout position that these cornerbacks can't cover. I think this is more about what happens when Riley Leonard escapes the pocket and he makes a play with his legs. Are the guys going to be able to bring him down up front? And if he gets to that second level, are the safeties going to be able to bring him down? Because he's got breakaway speed. And so that's the challenge this week. Cam Kitchens and James Williams playing disciplined in the back, not letting anybody get over the top. And then, everybody doing their job once Leonard decides to take off and run. What's
the prediction, Doggy? What do you think happens?
I got the Canes winning because they're at home. I think it'll be another heartbreaking loss for Duke, but it's not going to be by 9 points. I got the Canes winning 27-24. I think Borregales is doing a good job as a kicker. I think he'll be big in this game, making some field goals, and I don't think the Canes score in the 30s, bro. I just think it's another week.
I'm so with you. I think the Canes eke one out, and I think it's a layup. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. You make your own decisions out there. You do your own homework.
Exactly.
But the way I'm looking at it, this is a layup with Duke. Take the 9 points. I don't think Miami covers. I don't think they're good enough to cover by 10 or more at this point in time. So unless Duke comes in here and starts throwing the ball away and just giving up the ball a ton, and I don't think that's going to happen either, I think it'll be an ugly, tight game, but Miami will eke it out. I'm with you there.
And this is the way I would expect the rest of the season to go, except probably when they play Clemson or Florida State, who I think right now you put them on the field with both of those teams, they probably don't beat either one of them.
Right. So they get blown out by Clemson. FSU, you'll lose. Maybe not get blown out, but you'll lose for sure. Yeah, it looks like it right now because FSU looks like the better team.
I would say the rest of the competition is kind of on Miami's level in terms of the way that they're performing. I mean, last night's result is a perfect example, right? Virginia's been terrible all year, but then they go and they beat Georgia Tech, who was playing well. So it's and they're all touchdown or less games. Oh, you just look at every score in the Coastal. They're all close, miserable football games. So.
There you go. All right. Hey, don't forget, folks, go to caneswear.com. You can order anything with a Canes logo. They've got Dolphin gear. They've got Inter Miami gear. They've got Miami Heat gear. They've got Florida Panthers gear. You can also go to caneswear.com. If you order over $99, you will get free shipping, and you will freak out on how fast they ship it. So it doesn't matter where you live. You're going to go, wow, I got this fast. And that's because Brett, Jeff, all the guys out there and ladies, they work quickly at Caneswear. Go to the website or visit them at 2511 South University Drive in Davie. It's Caneswear, baby. Canes_wear on Twitter. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. Hopefully we'll have a happy post-game show, and we'll talk to you then.
Please God, I don't want any more miserable post-game.
I'm with you, bro. People don't get it. It's like really the media normally, most media members, they want the teams to win. It's so much better. It sucks to cover losing and all kinds of crap. They think we enjoy that, and really, it's not fun, dude.
No, and I've done this for too long, covering miserable losing teams. So I'd like for the narrative to change.
No, just think about somebody coming up to you and talking about a crappy day you had.
Right.
Hey, brother. Hey, how was your day today? Because man, you effed up every order you took in that restaurant today. How do you feel? It's like, hey, you see, you didn't get a lot of tips. Why? Because your service sucked today. Nobody ever comes up and tells you that, right? But
right.
That's our jobs to ask you, hey, why did you suck?
Right.
And it's tough, dude. It's tough. It's not fun. It's better. Hey, tell us about those 3 touchdowns. Oh, yeah, I had this, that, whatever. And everybody loves talking about good stuff.
Yeah, 100%. All right, brother. Take care, man. Talk to you tomorrow.
Follow him on Twitter, Manny_Navarro. That's our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
So one guy's commenting on the Instagram posting, and I was filming as I was driving in through the tunnel, and I'm in the middle of the convoy, right? So a guy goes, "Oh, I thought you were at a concert." So semi's pulling in with all the equipment. It's awesome. I was checking the chat board. And while I was talking to Manny, and Jeff C says, NFL does not want Tua leading a franchise. How do you come to that conclusion, Jeff C? Are you a QAnon guy too? Huh? I mean, talk about conspiracies. Why would the NFL be against Tua, my brother? What is it? Is it the thing that happened this week with the Pittsburgh quarterback? Is that what bothers you? Is it Cameron Brate? What is it? The inconsistencies? So you think they're trying to keep Tua away from football? I mean, why would anybody say something that silly? Jeff, if you really think that, dude, then you must be one of those silly fools that are believing all kinds of conspiracy theories that are out there. It's awesome. It's awesome to just put out allegations with no proof whatsoever. And then you've got a bunch of idiots that actually believe stuff without any proof. Ben Volen, there you go. That's a good one. No proof, and he believes that, this guy was a malcontent in the locker room. I mean, it's just like, really? The way they handled his injury. It's the NFL, dude. They suspended Ray Rice for 2 games, and then after they figured out and the video got out, and they probably saw that video too, and then they suspended him, and the rest is history. This is the NFL, dude. They do all kinds of stuff, and they get away with it, but it's incompetence is what it is. Nobody's scheming against. If anything, the NFL is dying to have Tua as a quarterback. Do you know why? He would offset some of the idiots in the league. He's the guy they want to use to represent the league. You see how great the league is and its players. Look at Tua Tagovailoa. He's a Super Bowl winner, contender, playoff, and he's a great person. It's a lot better than here's Deshaun Watson, who's one of the best quarterbacks in the league and also a sexual predator. You see? So the NFL loves these kind of players to succeed for them because it's great PR in the end. So nobody in the NFL is scheming against Tua or Teddy Bridgewater. They're just incompetent. It's the same league that kept away head injuries from their players for decades. They do this all the time. They do stupid things, dude. It's the NFL, but they're Teflon. That's why they can be clumsy, because you don't care. It's a shitty game on Thursday, and yet millions of people are watching every Thursday night, one shitty game after another. Yesterday was a little more entertaining than Yeah. Last night was a freakish compared to the crap that you've been watching the last couple of weeks, but still people watch. Huh? Next week is what? Oh, Bucks Ravens. Okay, yeah. Another game for Lamar Jackson to crumble in the fourth quarter. It's fantastic, but it'll be entertaining. You're right. Lamar's entertaining to watch run, and once in a while he'll connect on a couple passes. As long as it's not the fourth quarter and it has to be a comeback, then it's not his forte. But nobody's scheming against Tua. Stop with the silliness, bro. God, these conspiracy theories that you people come up with zero proof.
If they wanted him to not be the quarterback, they just tell doctors not to let him
Not
play.
to clear him, exactly.
I mean, that would be more of a reason to jump on the conspiracy all of a sudden because Tua can't get cleared.
Yeah.
If Tua turned into Ethan Carter.
Now, Tua is great for the NFL, Ian. Great for the NFL, not just good. Leon Fresco says, Lenny locked down tonight, Harvard plus 115 in the money line versus Princeton in football. My lock is Duke plus 9 tomorrow. That's my lock. Okay? Duke plus 9. Big old McDaniel's press conference is on. Yeah, we'll get the cuts from it and all that, and the key cuts from it, and we'll go over some of the key comments. Sean will look over if there's any earth-shattering stuff. There isn't a lot of earth-shattering stuff that goes on, so I don't want to play the whole press conference for that. He's a great cultured player who inspires many Samoans and different ethnicities to enjoy football. He's a great role model for young people. Yep. If anything, the real people behind the scenes, they're all rooting for Tua. The media idiots and all that. This is the beauty of it. Here's where we are with Tua. Are you ready for this? Do you have the cut of the Savior? So this is Tua. Was it yesterday or the day before? Day before, Wednesday. It was Wednesday. So Wednesday, it was the day that I was an idiot. Well, I'm an idiot every day, but that day I was a supersized idiot. No, every day I'm a supersized idiot. I was a supersized idiot and moron that day. And so Tua was asked about, pretty much saving the franchise since they've lost 3 in a row. Right? And let's play the question and the reaction from Tua. And I want you to know where we're at now. Are you ready? Go ahead, Sean. The Sean Stanley. What would your race car name be? Your wrestling name was the Sean Stanley. Oh, the Sean Allen. I'm sorry. So what would your racing name be? Sean Stanley? Okay. All right. All right, here we go. Here's Tua. Listen to the question and the answer. Ready? Fire away. Hold on.
Circumstance. You come back from an injury with your team on a losing streak. Did that experience teach you anything? Or I guess what did that experience teach you about returning when your team might be in a slide or on a slide and not trying to press or do too much?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Is I just got to be myself. I'm not the savior of this team. I don't just come in and, we start winning games. It's a team, it's a team deal. The defense gets us stops. The offense goes and puts points on the board, and the defense can help put points on the board as well as special teams. So for me, I just look at it as coming into this week, just be myself. Don't try to force anything. Don't try to make, plays that aren't there, be there. Just give our playmakers the ball and let them go to work.
I guess off that, you guys work.
So you got that there. Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Cameron Wolf interrupting us. What the hell's wrong with you, Cameron Wolf? Huh? Go do a press conference on your time there, buddy. So it's interesting. We've gone from noodle arm, too short, too lazy, can't take tough coaching, doesn't work hard enough, can't be a leader, can't run a powerful offense, to savior. Oh, God. The extremes we have gone. What a couple of games will do. But it's like lessons learned, right? A lot of people watching going, yeah, that Tua guy's way better than anything they have. Oh, and by the way, that Tua guy's pretty good compared to some of the other quarterbacks around the league too. Oh, and yeah, you know what? Now that offense under Tua was a high-powered offense, something I never thought he could do. I thought he was too short. I thought he had a noodle arm. I thought he could not run a high-powered offense. I thought he wasn't a leader. I thought he wasn't sociable. And now we're up to savior. I just you gotta trip out to the extremes we're at now. A couple months ago, you're trash. We want to get rid of you. Skyler should start over you. Teddy's way better. And now he's the savior. After you've gotten a taste of everybody else, and after you watch other quarterbacks around the league, some of you have just sat back and said, that number one guy is actually pretty good. I was a little off on that one. Oh, too much. And by the way, he is the savior. Just want you to know, there is no doubt that he is the savior. By the way, can't they just drop off one of those in my car? The Sunoco things? But that won't work in my car, right? That's probably the problem, huh? No? That hose won't connect to no, I won't, huh? Damn it. All right. Can I just take one of those for fun just to have it in my sports room? Maybe I should talk to Jeffrey about that. Right? Come on, Jeff. You got a lot of pull. Give him a mic there. Jeffrey Taraboulos, of course, from KSDT is here with us. How you doing, baby? You doing all right?
Good. How about you?
You're in your element. I see you're like walking around. You're like the mayor right now here.
Well, we have a bunch of clients involved in NASCAR and stuff, so just going around visiting people, seeing what I can do. We have our office here, our number 4 car going this with Bailey Curry going to tomorrow. We're racing tomorrow. It's qualifying today. So we're excited. It's a fun time for me anyways. There's no better way to network and meet people and coming to the track.
I'm with you. Now, since you're making things happen, okay, I need you to make something happen. Can you get me one of those Sunoco fill-up tanks that they're cruising around with? They have like 3 or 4 of them. I need one for my sports room. That thing would look just badass.
I can probably arrange that with the team. I can get one of those.
Yeah, there we go. That would be the bomb right there.
Absolutely.
By the way, congratulations expanding to Palm Beach.
Yes.
And you continue to grow, man.
Yeah, we're growing like crazy. I've always said to you guys, we need people right now to fill up those offices. So we got that whole brand
work.
New,
there we go.
We have the whole brand new second floor in Dayland area, and we're gonna have a brand new office in Boca Raton, probably in January. We're in Boynton with the firm that we merged with, and we'll hopefully have a brand new big office in Boca to meet to fill up with. Maybe hopefully a lot of FAU grads.
I one of the things I'm honored, and you tell me all the time, you go back and watch the show and listen to it, and normally you don't catch it live, you catch it after. But in this world, and as you know, when you watch our show, we're brutally honest. We call things like we see it. But in this world, they tend not to tell us the honest things. So I want to ask you something that's outside of sports. It's a little bit more about life. You're looking for work. There's a lot of jobs out there. Jobs have gone up, but they want to tell us that we're not in a recession when I believe we've already been in a recession for a while now. And I still believe that we're going to be in a recession for a little while more. And as I see what's going on in Europe, which, boy, things are really bad.
Well, you saw the prime minister yesterday.
Yeah. She was like,
45 days and she's out because that's how bad things are over there.
I can't solve these issues. And, a lot of the issues is, we have problem. Well, let's print more money and, all these kind of things. And so I'm just wondering, when you see it and you're telling your clients in business and all of that, what is your forecast for us? Are you seeing more of a, because you're the expert, I'm not, but I'm kind of an investor and I follow a lot of stuff. And I think we're going into 2023, deep into 2023 with some issues and maybe climbing out of it in 2024 is really what I'm looking at.
I don't have as long of a term forecast as you do. I think that 2023, I think we're definitely going to start hitting a really hard recession. I think, for all my clients, I'm warning them about cash flow. Cash flow is key, right? It doesn't matter how you do. If you got the cash flow, you can weather the storm, But I think I'm hoping that by mid 2023, we start recovering.
Right.
Yeah. I guess you're taking it maybe till the end of 2023.
Well, what I think, I'm with you that like that second half, you start to climb out of it, but 24 is where we bust out is what I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, all of the United States is going to have a big real estate recession with the interest rates the way it is.
It's the inevitable.
It won't be as bad in Florida. We have a lot of real estate clients. We won't be as bad in Florida because
we had so many people move here.
And they're still coming.
Post-pandemic.
And they're still coming.
And businesses are still coming.
And internationally, with things that are going on internationally, people wanting to come to the United States.
You can agree or disagree politically with some of the things that DeSantis stands for or whatever, but on the business side, on the economic side, he put Florida on top, dude.
Absolutely.
He put Florida on top.
He is he's definitely looking after businesses. He understands that that's what's going to pay people here and keep things running strongly. And again, not to be political again, I'm a strong supporter, and anyone who's pro-business, Democrat, Republican, whatever it may be, I'm all for them.
Since I'm running the platform now for the last couple of years, when I was in the business for many years, I talk to some of the owners, but I don't get as close to them. Now I do, obviously, because I handle the business end also. And every business person loves the governor because he kept them working, he kept them active, and he kept them making money, and he kept the state of Florida making money. Like I said, you could disagree with the politics
100%
of different things that he stands for, but that's why economically we might be better off than some states.
Absolutely. And we're going to continue to grow. We're whatever recession the United States feels, I think honestly Florida's not going to feel it as bad as everybody else. It's going to be bad, but we're not going to feel it as bad as everybody else. I mean, we are open for business, and part of the problems we have the labor market has to improve, for all of us.
Yeah.
And we have to get this inflation under control.
Because
we're having issues with just employees even wanting to find a place to live here in South Florida. It's too expensive. The rents are too high. It's a tough situation right now. For everyone.
They've got to go. Like they must have to go more out into the suburbs in order to find. So it's quite a drive for them. Probably
we're getting a lot more employees wanting to work remotely because of it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the whole pandemic thing has changed the way people think. Yeah. And then the other thing, it doesn't help when governments are just giving away money.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, bro. We were built by working. That's what we're supposed to be.
I personally want people in the office, not because I don't trust people or I don't think they can work from home. I think they're probably even more efficient maybe working at home sometimes. But I mean, what my firm sells is the culture, right?
Right.
That's what differentiates us from all the other firms, I believe. Right. And if you're not in the office to experience that culture, how do you keep somebody? How do you
exactly?
That's the thing I'm concerned about.
Yeah. All right, Jeffrey. Appreciate you, my brother, as always.
Thank you for being here today. This is awesome.
Thank you for inviting us out here, man. And again, folks, if you're looking for work, KSDT CPA's offices in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties, all kinds of positions, right?
Yep. Got everything available.
There you go. So check it out, ksdtcpa.com. Go to the website, and you can contact them there. Jeffrey, man, enjoy yourself, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. We're excited about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Have a good one, guys.
Maybe Bailey can come by and talk to us later.
I think Bailey's coming by at 1 o'clock.
I love it.
To you guys.
I love it. All right, excellent. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate you. All right, we are ready to go. Joe Shad, baby, and our Hijinks Sports Grill Miami Dolphins report. He's ready to go. Fire away, Sean Stanley.
On.
Boom. And there he is. How you feeling, Joe?
What's up, Big O? Doing okay out here in Miami Gardens. Mike McDaniel just wrapped up his Friday press conference. Guess the good news is
give me some nuggets. Let's go.
Yeah, well, the good news is that he is optimistic about Teron Armstead's chances of playing at left tackle, returning from that toe injury. Armstead told us on Thursday that it's a very painful injury, and that at times he really has had a toe that he's been unable to use. So. But a banged-up Teron Armstead is a much better option than anybody else that the Dolphins have to play left tackle. And we'll see if Brandon Shell or Greg Little lines up at right tackle. Coach McDaniel wasn't ready to reveal that specific for us, but he was complimentary of Shell, who has not been around as long as Little. But I kind of think that maybe Shell is a little better option at this point. So we'll see on that. And then, no one has been ruled out in terms of Keon Crossan, Kader Kohu, Emmanuel Ogba. But the Dolphins think they have enough cornerbacks to get through Sunday's game despite the injuries.
All right, that's good. And I think your Shell guess is very, very good guess on your part. I think the Shell game is going to go to the right side of the line. He's been the better player. The question I have is, how long of a leash is left on Liam Eichenberg, and when does Robert Jones get the chance? Because he probably will be the guy that will get the chance, I would imagine, because I think Michael Dieter, they've got him probably more focused for center just in case something happens to Connor. So Jones would be probably the next guy up. When do you think that happens if Liam Eichenberg continues to struggle?
Yeah, McDaniel declined to discuss whether or not they have discussed any other offensive line changes. So that's clearly an in-house thing at this point in time. But, it's been 6 games. So, an educated guess might be a couple of more games. And Eichenberg, needs to be better. It's a new offense. It's a new scheme. We got to have a little patience. It is the guard position, which is clearly not as important as tackle or center. So they've, kind of gotten away with it a little bit to this point. But, I agree with you. Robert Jones certainly will be an option in the future.
Yeah, it's got to happen very shortly. If his play continues, I would imagine in the next week or 2, maybe 3, no more than that. If he continues to struggle, your responsibility as an offensive line coach, an offensive coordinator, and a head coach, you gotta go try Robert Jones, man. You gotta give him at least a chance to see if he can do a better job. And again, I was talking with Larry Little yesterday, and he agrees with me, which I agree with a lot of the scouts that I've talked to. They all think Eichenberg is a tackle. He's not a guard. He's not fit to be a guard. And that's kind of, the issue that's been there. And I get it. They made a lot of moves for him. And so they're trying to see if they can find a place for him. But, man, that one is one that – and maybe, you know what, Joe? Maybe this week they want to try to see if they can hide him a little bit better with Armstead next to him, right? Maybe that helps him out. I don't know.
I mean, if they thought that Eichenberg was a tackle based on what they saw last year, they probably would have put him there.
Yeah. It's a good point.
Instead of Little and Shell, you know what I mean? So
great point.
Clearly, they meaning this offensive line coach, this offensive coordinator, this head coach, they don't think he's a tackle.
Yeah.
Especially not in this offense. So look, if he's not a tackle in what was the offense last year? The George Godsey offense, and he's not a guard in the Mike McDaniel.
I call it the Three Stooges offense.
And he's not a guard in the Mike, then he just might be nothing. He might be a reserve, or he might need to go play somewhere else. But we'll see. That's not finalized yet, right? We have to have a little patience. It is a new scheme. There's been 3 different quarterbacks in there.
Hey, listen, he plays tackle. He doesn't have to deal with all those stunts as much. Because
sometimes it's hard to know.
That dude can't pick. Speaking of Shell, he can't pick the shell game on defense. He doesn't know which shell is coming at him at times, dude.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to know on the stunts whose fault is it. It's kind of like Sam Madison was telling us yesterday, when 2 defensive backs are lined up with 2, receivers that are kind of bunched together, and then they crisscross like in a basketball game, you got to have the communication. It's kind of both of their responsibilities. Sometimes they're both wrong.
I'm with you there. What else did you pick up from the interview? Any other nuggets?
Let's see. Well, Austin Jackson, he's still optimistic that Jackson will return within the 21-day window. Keep in mind, we are a couple of weeks into that now. Yeah, a couple of weeks into that now. So, this is not the week for Austin Jackson, but maybe next week. I think maybe they realize that they just kind of stepped on the gas a little too quickly.
High ankle sprains are tough, dude.
Right.
They are tough. They get re-aggravated. Bro, you've covered enough football and college and the NFL. High ankle sprains are really, really touchy, and you could tell it's a high ankle sprain because if it's if it was a regular ankle sprain, he would have already been back. When it's this long, it's all about high ankle sprain at this point.
Yeah, and you need the balance and the strength in that ankle to be able to handle the edge speed rushers. Mike McDaniel said he's not sure if Trey Flowers might come back, but he's not entirely been ruled out after having been placed on injured reserve with a foot injury. Smartly, McDaniel did not get into the conversation about how is it that Kenny Pickett is already cleared to play this week. Obviously that's for us to discuss, not for Mike McDaniel to discuss. But it is a little weird that the concussion protocols seem to be all over the place.
Okay. Let's see. Big O Mike McDaniel said in his press conference that the 49ers wanted to draft Eichenberg and wanted to put him at guard, not tackle. Is that I remember that he said something about the Niners wanting him, but I don't remember him specifically.
I don't remember the guard part. Yeah,
I don't remember the guard part either. Sorry, Samuel. We'll have to hear you. You might be right, my brother, but as you know the rule on this show, we don't believe any of you until we see the proof. And we don't believe any of the stories you sent us until we see that it's actually from a credible source. So that's kind of the rule on the show, that all listeners, they're usually probably passing over bad information because that's the way it is. But if, Samuel, we hear the soundbite, then we'll believe you, my brother.
So Eichenberg was primarily a left tackle as a rookie.
Yes.
He's primarily a left guard as a sophomore. And what's interesting is he was a left tackle who didn't give up a sack in 30 straight games at Notre Dame. So it's just amazing. It's like, how did he go from that to not very good at all? And
you just wonder how much the confidence has waned on him. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Is he not quick enough to play tackle and not quite strong enough to play guard? I mean, sometimes guys are just tweeners. It happens. Yeah. But I thought that he was going to be the right tackle last year, and that he would do that. That he would have a chance to do that. Mike McGlinchey, his friend Mike McGlinchey, they both played right tackle, and then at Notre Dame, they're both from Notre Dame, and then McGlinchey was the right tackle in this offense.
Yeah.
But they obviously decided that they wanted to go with Austin Jackson at right tackle, and he's more athletic, obviously, than Eichenberg. So hopefully Jackson, plays his best football when he does return as early as next week.
Highlights from McDaniel's press conference. First question deals with Liam Eichenberg and what qualities McDaniel saw in him to put him at left guard. And McDaniel says the Niners had targeted him when he was there and had him targeted as a guard. Eichenberg, of course, started at guard last season for the Dolphins before moving to left tackle, where he would fit as an NFL player. So there you go. And that's poop art, by the way. So we could say it's a legitimate source now.
Did you translate it? Did you translate that from Canadian to?
Yeah, I did. He did write it in French. How'd you know?
Okay.
How'd you know? That was the French version of Dolphins.com. Yeah. I was practicing my Francais, So yeah, exactly. That's it's a beautiful thing. So yeah, he did target. So there you go, Samuel. You get love. You gave us accurate information. I will remember that now. That Samuel Rosa provided accurate information there. All right, so we look at this game, my brother. Tua, what'd you think so far of everything that's been handled, and do you think this is the right thing to do, playing him this week?
Yeah, I mean, he visited with 4 or more
I know.
of the world's leaders in head injury. So obviously, everybody feels comfortable with his return, and if they feel comfortable, I feel comfortable. Why shouldn't we? It's the same thing with Mike McDaniel. I mean, if Mike McDaniel is told this guy is cleared, I mean, what is he supposed to do? Not put him in there? And that was bogus. That was total bull that people criticize Mike McDaniel. I don't care if you're a former coach like Rex Ryan or not. That's absolute joke. You got to lean on your medical staff. They tell you he's clear or not, So yeah, I mean, look, of course you worry
Brother,
a little
Rex
bit.
Ryan had Tyrod Taylor
Right.
laid out on the turf. Laid out. He's clearly concussed. He's in there a couple plays later back. Rex Ryan puts him right back in. Rex Ryan is full of crap. Dude, you worked at that company. You know how they do this. The producers will go over and say, we got this topic. Who's going to play this side and who's going to play that side? And even if you don't believe in it, they're going to make somebody play the opposite one way or another. Why? Because it's just professional trolling is what they do. So somebody on that panel had to take that kind of stance.
I was actually a sideline reporter. This is very random, but in the preseason game in which Rex Ryan inexplicably had Mark Sanchez taking snaps, I think it was the third preseason game, and he left him out there, and everyone's like, why is he out there? And then he got injured. And Rex has said that was one of his biggest regrets, that he mishandled having had his quarterback on the field at that time. So who knows? But I don't know. Listen, it's going to be interesting to watch, Tua take on a Steelers defense in which the players are obviously all going to be prepped by Brian Flores. He knows every single strength and weakness. But, Mike McDaniel made a very interesting.
Not really. Not anymore.
That's my point. That's what I'm telling you. That's what I was about to tell you. When I asked Mike McDaniel about it, and this is what I'm going to write about, probably for Sunday's paper, in the Palm Beach Post, McDaniel said, well, basically this is a different guy in a different offense. Yeah. And we all know, listen, Flores didn't have access to, Tyreek Hill.
No, and Flores didn't know how to
Armstead.
And Flores wasn't smart enough to know how to use Tua. Mike McDaniel knows how to use Tua. So it's one, he doesn't call plays anyways. Terrell Austin is the defensive coordinator. So, they may ask him a question or two about a player or two, but he's not really going to be controlling any defense or doing. He coaches linebackers. That's all he does. As I said earlier in the week, Ernie from Scarface and Flo are the same guy, bro. They just got him a job. Hey, you got a job, and that's it. That's all it is. Nothing more, nothing less. Some people make it sound like it's Tua against Flores. When Terrell Austin is his own man, he's established as a coach, and he's the defensive coordinator for them, not Brian Flores.
Well, that's true, but obviously, Brian Flores' return to Hard Rock Stadium is a relevant storyline.
It's a storyline, but not the storyline that some are trying to make it out to be, like he's going to be a major factor in the play calling and in the game when he's not. He's a position coach, not a coordinator. Not a coordinator.
Mike Tomlin, his opinion is that it can be a little bit overblown, but he described Flores' knowledge of the Dolphins personnel as a, quote, useful resource. So I'm just telling you what the coach of the Steelers said.
And you know what that's called? Useful smoke up your ass. That's what that's called. What's he going to say? Something negative about the guy he hired? The guy that nobody was going to hire in the league, who backstabbed the guy that hired him here in Miami and backstabbed the guy that took care of him for 16 years in New England? That guy had no shot at getting hired anywhere. That was a PR ploy by the league and the Steelers to throw him a bone and give him a job so it can look good for the league. But overall, I don't think he'll ever have a position of power ever again in the NFL because he can't be trusted.
Well, then people will say that he was blackballed in the same way Colin Kaepernick was.
Well, yeah, he and in this case, he should be blackballed. This is the case where you blackball him. You cannot hire people that are going to turn against the people that hire you. Dude, how do you expose Belichick's texts? That's completely uncool on his part, dude.
No, he obviously felt that it was in the greater interest of
yeah, but you
in the
can't do
greater
that, bro.
interest.
You got to understand how it's going to affect you in the big picture. And you know what? It's really not going to make a difference in the long run. They're still going to hire whoever the hell they want to hire, and it will not matter one bit whatsoever. This league is as Teflon as it gets, Joe. They can get away with practically everything, and we will still watch, we will still support, we will still buy all the gear, the tickets, it doesn't matter. Every week they complain about the Thursday game and how many millions of people are watching. It's amazing.
Listen, you asked me about the Steelers game. Vegas knows. Vegas knows that line is 7.5. It seems high. Like, wow, Steelers really 7.5 seems high. No, it's not high. Dolphins roll. They blitz the hell out of Kenny Pickett with the gloves, the rookie. This is the game where Brandon Jones, Javon Holland, Emmanuel Ogbah, Jalen Phillips, they all get involved. I'm not going to be surprised if they sack this guy 5 times.
How many emails, DMs did you get from Dolphin fans about Kenny Pickett and the concussion this week and how they handled it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the details about the concussion protocol relative to why Pickett was able to practice earlier in the week. I don't know. I mean, obviously they're not violating NFL rules, so it must be that folks have a problem with the way those NFL rules are set up. So I don't know.
Do you blame the Dolphin for that? Because you screw Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, there was no ataxia. I don't care what they say. It wasn't anywhere on video, so they're lying about that, obviously, because if there was real video, the league would have let it out and shown people, hey, no, we had to do it to protect them, and there was none, and they kind of let that thing die so that the story would just go by and everybody would forget about it and move on. So I get where Dolphins are a little pissed off about the Pickett situation compared to how things have been handled with Tua and with Teddy Bridgewater. You got to understand that part, right?
Yeah, no, I understand the frustration of Dolphin fans, certainly. Listen, I do think that Tua Tagovailoa is going to play well on Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
He has played very well this season.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Steelers' defense is not that good, and I think the Dolphins roll. I think the Dolphins crush the Steelers. That's my belief.
I love it. Follow him on Twitter at Shad Joe. Catch his work at the Palm Beach Post. And tell them what you're working on the Palm Beach Post so they can check you out, man.
Well, I'm going to do something on the state of the Dolphins' injured players. You can look for that on the Palm Beach Post website later today. And for Sunday, I'm obviously going to bring together all the storylines for this game, the return of the 72 team, Tua's return, Flores' return, everybody's returning. So all the fascination, what are the Dolphins players saying about Flores? What is Tua saying about Flores? Is there any relevance to Flores' knowledge? All that stuff. We'll dive into it. I'll post it later today, but it'll be in the paper on Sunday. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Shadjo, SCHADJO. We appreciate you, Big O.
And subscribe to the Palm Beach Post, please. Okay? Support our local journalists like Joe and Hal and Tom D'Angelo, all the terrific people there at the Palm Beach Post. Joe, have a great weekend, my friend. We'll catch up next week. Thank you.
See you.
You got it. There you go. He's always into Hijinks. Hijinks Sports Grill, the best-looking sports bar in South Florida. Just go to the IG page. Seriously, just go to Hijinks Sports Grill, and it's in Boca. They've got one location only, and go check it out. Just go to the Instagram page, and then here's the words you're going to say to me, and I'm going to say to you now ahead of time. You're welcome. You're welcome. And you're just going to say, thank you. Oh, wow. I'm subscribing. I'm following Hijinks. Say it. Current and former Dolphin cheerleaders are the servers there and bartenders. I'm just saying. Just saying. We are giving something away. I don't know if you can pull up the Nature Bee picture there, but we've got a Nature Bee prize pack worth over $100, and we're giving it away to 2 lucky followers. All you got to do, folks, is simply follow NatureBNZ on Instagram. NZ is for New Zealand. NatureBNZ on Instagram. Tag a friend in the comments of the post. Okay? And you and your friend will be entered into that drawing to win the prize pack worth over $100. Also use the hashtag Big O Radio Show on your Instagram post. This is only an Instagram giveaway, not Twitter, not Facebook, not LinkedIn, not TikTok, Instagram. Okay? So go there, follow NatureBNZ on Instagram, and tag a friend in the comments. You and your friend will go into the drawing to win the prize pack. And then use our hashtag also Big O Radio Show. Hashtag Big O Radio Show. We will pick 2 winners there. So make sure you follow the folks on Instagram at NatureBNZ and get into the prize pack. If you, I've been talking about NatureB for 20 years now. Some guy got on it yesterday that I was talking about it. I posted it, and he goes, man, I've been taking NatureB for 15 years, and I never took my shots. Never got COVID. I rarely ever get a cold, so I understand what he's saying. I'm not saying that it's going to protect you from COVID, but I get what he's saying. I rarely ever get a cold when I have NatureB in my system. It's amazing. And personally, what I do, I take it when I go to sleep, because that way it gets into my body and it's potentiated. So it's already broken down so your body can absorb it a lot faster. That's what potentiation is. But I like it so then that way when I go to sleep, I get it in my system. And when I wake up, boom, I'm protected, man. And I'm out into the world and out here and whatever. And you shake hands with people and sometimes they have a cold or whatever, that kind of stuff. So you want to protect yourself. And I always tell you, natureb.com. You can buy 2 months, get the 3rd month for free and free shipping. Use our code Big O. And I'm telling you, the benefits are endless. Go to natureb.com or also get on the contest and join us. Go to my Instagram page at Big O Radio Show, and you'll see the contest there. You can take advantage of it. All right, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. We have yet to take a break in 2 hours. Okay? So we're going to do something that other people do. We're going to take a small commercial break, short one. Just give me 2 minutes. I got to rest my voice a little bit here. And we'll be back to start off hour number 3 of the program live from the Homestead Motor Speedway, baby. Yes, sir. The Dixie 400 this weekend out here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. And we're out here covering it. All right, back with more right here in hour number 3 of the Big O Radio Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Slowman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Slowman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Slowman Shield.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. PPR, Draft, Keeper, Dynasty. It's the Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone with Yahoo Sports' Scott Pianowski. Keep up with your fantasy football teams by visiting any of the 8 great Sports Grill locations. Sports Grill, good food, good drink, good friends. Here's Scott Pianowski.
There we go. Hope you all are doing well, as always. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend that is Scott Pianowski. Load up those fantasy football questions right now. Send them in on the YouTube chat board. You can send them in on the Welt and Rayom text line at 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. Load up those fantasy football questions. Did you have Andy Dalton last night there, Scotty?
I did not. Unfortunately, I didn't have the Arizona defense. I just need you to promise me one thing, Big O. Promise me I have not been traded to the Carolina Panthers.
Wow. Oh, God. What'd you think of that trade? Because he's so injured. I schematically, football-wise, IQ, I get what Shanahan's thinking, and it would be perfect. And I get it. He's a mismatch nightmare, all that stuff. As a pass catcher, he's a terror, all that stuff. Man, but that's a lot of picks for a guy that is rarely on the field.
Yeah, I thought Carolina had to make that trade, right? I mean, they're rebooting.
Yes.
Their next good team is not going to have Christian McCaffrey on it. So he's in his 6th year. Running back windows don't stay open as long as we think they will. And he's eventually going to make pretty good money. The contract isn't that bad this year for a cap hit. So I think the Panthers had to make the trade. As far as San Francisco, the NFC is wide open. I mean, Philadelphia right now looks really good, but you can make a case for a number of teams as the second best team in the conference. I mean, is it Minnesota? Is it Green Bay? Is it Dallas? Is it Tampa Bay with the Rams? They're all flawed teams. So the Niners think, well, we went to the NFC Championship game last year. Let's let's do what the Rams did, right? The Rams sold all sorts of stuff. They mortgaged their future, and they got a championship out of it. If the 49ers get back to the Super Bowl, it'll be worth it. But you make a good point. I mean, McCaffrey's been injured the last couple of years. It's a position where injuries hit the most. The Niners have done pretty well with, nondescript. Elijah Mitchell came out of nowhere, was fine. Jeff Wilson's been pretty good. He wasn't great last week, but he's been fine. But I think Carolina had to make this trade. I get why the Niners did it, but if McCaffrey, of course, gets hurt, they're going to regret that they just traded a slew of draft picks for probably the most easiest of all positions to fill.
Yeah, and my problem with all of this is you don't have the quarterback to get this done anyway. And so that to me, it's interesting that you're making this kind of a move. I understand you make this move when you're the team that is right on the brink of winning a Super Bowl. I'm not exactly sure. Dude, I just think you're going to see Garoppolo, McCaffrey, and Boza take turns going to the IR is what I think is going to happen right now. That's what I think.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I was in love with this defense about a month ago, and then they play last week. They were missing all sorts of personnel, and they get pushed around by the Atlanta Falcons. They were like 5 or 6 point favorites in that game. Atlanta, the only team who's covered every week. So I guess if the defense can stay healthy, it's a top 5 unit. It could be the best unit in football. And again, they went to the NFC Championship game last year, so they have to at least probably internally have a pretty good sense that they're close. Whether or not that's true or not, we'll see. The only thing for me is that if you're going to trade the time to draft capital, the last thing I'd want is a running back. Here's the irony, right? In real life football, the quarterback is everything. In fantasy football, the quarterback is not everything. In fantasy football, the running back is everything. In real life football, the running back is not everything. They don't even really go in the first round anymore. It's a rarity. So teams have gotten smart. You look at like a team right now, the Patriots are rolling with Ramondre Stevenson. He's a 4th-round pick. Dameon Pierce has been great. He was undrafted. It's just the one position where guys come out of the woodwork constantly. You might not even know who they are. Maybe Khalil Herbert's the best back in Chicago. He wasn't a high draft pick. It just seems like again in fantasy it's backwards, because in fantasy we need running backs like plasma, right? And let me also just kind of head this off at the pass. If you could pick up Chuba Hubbard or Donta Foreman, that's fine. They have such low ceilings. This is the worst offense in football. The quarterback play has been horrendous. Yeah, if they're sitting there in your wire, you want to get them, fine. Both Andy Behrens and I independently tweeted the same thing. If we did get those guys, we'd probably try to trade them. Not that anybody in your league is going to give you a king's ransom for them, but maybe you pick up one of those guys and then he plays Sunday and has 16 carries for 42 yards. And then he's like, his value is taking a hit. So,
well, maybe what you do in this case is you pick them up now. You're not going to get a lot, but if somehow this week one of them busts out for a big ass game, that's when you dump them right away.
That's a possibility too. Or maybe they're sweeteners. Maybe you're trying to get a trade done and giving somebody Foreman would make them happy. Also, don't cut Jeff Wilson just yet, because I don't know how much McCaffrey will play this week. So you may end up starting Wilson. Obviously, 4 really good teams are on bye. This is going to be one of the more difficult bye weeks to navigate. So Wilson's probably going to end up being somebody you cut or you only hold as an insurance policy, but he still might get 15 touches this week, because I don't think they'll throw the heaviest package at McCaffrey right out of the box.
All right, send in those questions. Let's go. Line them up, your fantasy football questions. Scott Pianowski is ready. Chad is asking, drop Edmonds for Melvin Gordon.
I think I would. Although, Gordon didn't play much at the end of that game Monday. But Nat Hackett, does he look over his skis or what? I don't know if he's a one-year thing in Denver. But it sounds like Gordon's going to get the start. I know the Jets have played pretty good defense for the last few weeks. I could see Gordon getting to 15 or 20 touches before I can see Edmonds doing it. Right now, I don't have a lot of faith in either guy, but I would lean towards Gordon.
Okay. Next one. Do I start Goff or Mariota this week? How about that, dude?
Yeah, I think I would start Goff, only because I'm just afraid Mariota in any week could throw the ball 15 times. Now, he also is mobile. Last week,
running,
he ran for like 50 yards. He punched in a touchdown. You need that with Mariota. I feel like it's just more plausible where Goff has more help. They're going to probably have Swift back this week. Brown should be ready for a full complement of snaps. He didn't play a lot before the bye week. Dallas is a good defense, and of course Parsons will be beaten down on the pocket all week. But I still believe in Detroit's offense. Their defense is going to be terrible, but Jared Goff is still around league average, maybe a little bit better, and he's got really nice pieces. I just Atlanta, they want to run to set up the run. So if you don't get a touchdown from Mariota, you could easily be looking at like 12 points.
Emilio's asking, do I start Lazard or Dubs?
But Lazard's got the 4 touchdowns, and he's getting more downfield work than Dobbs, so I'd lean there. I'm not in love, obviously, with the Green Bay passing game right now. Washington's defense has been pretty good, but maybe Green Bay can get right in this game. I just feel like if there's going to be a touchdown thrown on the Packers offense, I feel like Lazard's the guy probably to catch it.
His second question is Mike Williams or Myers?
It's Mike Williams. Look, I know, obviously, Surtain shut him down Monday. There's just like a handful of cornerbacks who are nightmare matchups. Surtain's one of those guys. This week, Williams gets Seattle. There's no matchup nightmare in the Seattle secondary. The Legion of Boom has long since moved on. So I know Seattle played a low-scoring game last week. The Chargers and Seahawks should be one of the highest-scoring games on Sunday. Play Mike Williams.
Okay. Everett or Gesicki in a flex league?
I wish I knew. We've talked about Gesicki. We like him. He's a pro. This is a new offense for him. It doesn't necessarily play to his strengths. I was really encouraged by how well he played last week, but I still, this offense is about the receivers. Everett has to deal with other guys too. I mean, they were using Parham so much on Monday, but I just feel like Everett's going to have 6 to 9 targets. I feel like Gesicki could easily have 3 or 4, so I have to lean Everett, even though I do like Gesicki as a player.
All right, remember, Welt and Rayom text line, a great way to send in the questions on the text line. Flex spot, A.J. Dillon, Gerald Everett, or Zay Jones?
A weak vote to Dillon. Man, that Packers offense is not what we thought it would be. But he's still probably got double-digit touches in his back pocket. He's still got a fair amount of goal line equity, and I don't want to be married to the Packers, but I think they're going to at least be back in the 20 to 24 point range, and that would be good for A.J. Dillon.
Remember the Welton Rayom text line, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. Flex spot, Mostert, Ayuk, or Judy?
I'm going to go with the back. Mostert is the lead back in Miami. They're 7.5 point favorites. We like to get tied to a good game script. I realize it's been hard to predict this backfield at times because it looked like before the season Evans would be their guy, but they've certainly leaned into Mostert. I also think Pittsburgh might have an emotionally spent reservoir. The great upset win last week over Tampa Bay. I think they might come out flatter than a pancake on Sunday night, and I actually think I'm very reluctant.
I hope so.
I'm very reluctant to spot big points, Big O, but that's a game where I saw the 7.5. I'm like, yeah, I'll swallow it. I think Miami's going to win by like 17 points.
You know the return of Tua will ignite the offense.
They should have won. They should have won last week. It's so funny that
they could have won most of the games in the last 3 weeks.
They should have lost the Buffalo game, outgained all day, and then they dominated. They dominated Minnesota. 240-yard edge in offense, whatever it was. Minnesota had no right winning that game.
Couldn't finish.
That's just the way football is sometimes. They should have lost the Buffalo game. They won it. They should have beaten Minnesota. They lost, and that's how the NFL works sometimes. But don't be fooled. I mean, Pittsburgh won last week. Pittsburgh's still one of the 5 worst teams in football.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. The Welton Rayom text line. Need to figure out who to start at my wide receiver spots with my flex options are St. Brown, Cortland Sutton, CeeDee Lamb, and Najee Harris.
Lamb and St. Brown are the 2 guys I would use. Harris, man, last year at least you could say, even when he wasn't playing that well, he never came off the field. This year they actually used Warren a fair amount of the time. And Sutton tied to Russell Wilson, who hasn't played well. I mean, Lamb's probably going to get Dak Prescott back. And St. Brown I expect to be fully healthy with the bye in his rearview mirror. So Lamb would be the first guy I'd play. I assume you need 2 of them. I'd play Lamb and St. Brown.
Razzle Dazzle Crypto says, should I start McCaffrey this week or should I give up on Brandon Cooks and Michael Thomas for my flex spot?
I think I would. Those guys are good enough that I think I would. Cooks certainly. I would play over McCaffrey. I think McCaffrey's going to get maybe 20, 25 snaps. Maybe he'll get 10 touches. So if that works for you, he'd probably need a touchdown to pay it off. Most of you probably have a better option. I'm going to rank him probably outside my top 25 at running back, maybe 28, 30, something like that. So he's somebody I can't play proactively. I would play him if I felt like that's really the only option I had.
Milano is asking, and by the way, Milano, that was a dirty shot on Tua a couple weeks ago. I traded Devontae Adams and Drake London for Jonathan Taylor and Miles Sanders. Did I win my trade?
Comes down to how healthy Taylor is. The Colts right now, by the way, by DVOA, Football Outsiders, they have the worst running game in football. It's just crazy to think that the number one consensus pick was Jonathan Taylor, and right now they have the worst running game. Now, of course, a lot of it is because Taylor hasn't played the last 2 weeks, but the line hasn't played well either. If Taylor's healthy, you're going to win that trade. Miles Sanders, we know who he is, a very reliable running back 2, but probably doesn't have running back 1 ceiling. Adams has been good, but not quite the Adams he was in Green Bay. If Taylor's healthy, I see making that trade. You're betting that Jonathan Taylor comes back strong. I think there's a plausible chance that he does, so I probably would have made that trade too.
Flex Ayuk or Judy? Oh, I'm sorry. Mostert, Ayuk, and Judy. That's the flex they're asking.
Yeah, I think we had that one. I like Mostert first. Although if you had to play 2 of them, Ayuk I would play over Judy. I just don't want to be tied to Russell Wilson. Although I will say this, if you're in a pinch for a tight end, I liked what Dulcich showed on Monday, and the Jets just allowed 10 completions to Tunyon the previous week. Dulcich has been the guy I've picked up in a few leagues where I need tight end help, but otherwise I'm trying to stay away from that Broncos offense. I think that's going to be a low-scoring game. Both defenses playing well there, too.
All right, somebody else, and I think we answered this from somebody else, too. He says Josh Allen is out and not many good pickup options. Jared Goff or Mariota?
Yeah, Goff, because I just worried about Mariota.
Didn't somebody ask Goff and Mariota,
I think we had that, yeah. And I like Goff.
This is different because this guy has Josh Allen, so these are 2 free agents that are available for him, I guess.
Yeah, well, Goff has to buy in his rearview mirror, and Detroit's got better offensive infrastructure, and they're more willing to throw the ball. Jared Goff could throw 40 passes. Arthur Smith doesn't want to play that way.
Right, I'm with you there. All right, what are you guys working on Yahoo, my friend, so folks can check you out?
Yeah, posted our sleepers and bold predictions on Thursday. Later today, I'll be doing my picks against the spread. One of those will be Denver. I'll tell you that right now. 23-7 against the number this year, so we've been running pretty good there. Sunday, Fantasy Football Live. It's our flagship show, the final hour before kickoff. They'll be doing the webcast. I'll be on the Yahoo Fantasy handle doing a lot of this, start, sit, trade questions, pickup questions, trying to help you. And then, the whole cycle starts again. Sunday night, we'll do the podcast wrap-up. Monday, Andy will have the pickups. I know he'll be talking to you on Monday. So that's our cadence in football. It's, September, we try to figure things out. We try to keep our heads above water. October is when we try to make our move. So I want you to finish strong. I want you guys to all remember, your opponents right now, they're ready to do crazy things because somebody in your league's 1-5, and he's dropping somebody he shouldn't, or he's ready to make a trade he shouldn't. He's panicking. Take advantage of that person. I mean, it's all's fair in fantasy, right? I mean, we're all friends here, but we all want to win. Keep a track of who's dropped because guys are going to start dropping players. Somebody may drop Allen Robinson. Not that he's going to save your season, but doesn't play this week. The guy who rosters Robinson may be 1-5. So make sure you're auditing those drops. And again, it's a regular routine. I'm here every Friday. I know you have Andy at the early part of the week. We're in a regular cycle at Yahoo. So hang out with us on Twitter. Hang out with us on Fantasy Football Live. Let's try to get you a win.
Got it. There you go. And follow him on Twitter at Scott_Pianowski. Scott, may the big wins be yours, my friend. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
To talk to you, buddy. Good luck this week.
Thank you, my friend. There you go. The great Scott Pianowski. And don't forget, when you go to Sports Grill, and there's 7 amazing locations, the 8th one is coming in Doral. We'll tell you when it's open. But $1.50 Bud Light drafts and bottles during NCAA and NFL games. How about that? They've got new cocktails that they've added for only $5 during NCAA and NFL games. The cherry lemonade and the tailgate tea, $12 domestic pitchers. So many great deals while you're watching football. Bone-in wings, 15% off. How about that? Other people raising prices, Sports Grill lowering them for you. Buttermilk chicken sandwich, it's on the menu. It's delicious. And, of course, Mondays, they've got the $7 single smash burger. Tuesdays, the $2 tacos. You can choose from chicken, beef, or fish. And Wednesday, the kids eat for free with the purchase of an adult entree. Check out all 7 amazing locations. Sports Grill, baby. Great place to enjoy a game and some great food. That is Scott Pianowski.
You've been listening to the Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone with Yahoo Sports' Scott Pianowski. Go to sportsgrill.com to find a great location near you. fantasy football fans, subscribe to the Big O Radio Show on YouTube and all other platforms to catch up with all our fantasy football insight, provided by Scott Pianowski and Andy Behrens.
All right. We're back. There we go. Boys always getting it done, man. Excellent. What can I tell you? It's a beautiful thing. So we are out here at Homestead Miami Speedway. Have a little fun out here. We're going to have Cameron Wolf join us at the bottom of the hour. Niners trade Christian McCaffrey. Terrible trade. Cards beat the Saints last night 42-34. Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle. Huh? That guy, I've never been an Andy Dalton guy ever since he came out of the league. Came into the league. I just always thought that he always lacked what you needed in order to get it done. Whether it's sometimes the arm strength in certain situations, the decision-making in key situations, it's funny that, like, Tua doesn't have a big arm either, okay? He has as good an arm or better arm than Andy by not by much. But the difference is the anticipatory skills and the way you view the game. And when you watch a guy like Andy Dalton, why is it that he doesn't convince me? And why is it that Tua does? You think about that, right? Because neither one is a great athlete. Neither one has a monster arm. But the difference is when I watch the way one guy looks at the game and reacts to it, and compared to another guy, I look at Tua as a guy that can make plays and be a difference maker and set his playmakers up for success. Where I look at as a guy, as a Andy Dalton type, and I really want one of those Sunoco things. Anyway, and I look at Andy Dalton as a game manager all the time. He's going to depend on everybody else. He's not going to make game like that touchdown he threw early in the game down the field. That's not what he normally does. He doesn't do enough of that kind of stuff. He doesn't thread it into difficult situations, whereas Tua will. I'm telling you, it's one of those where you see the guy and there is something about it. And that's why, we had Joe Shad on, and I love Joe, but obviously he and I will disagree on certain things with the Dolphins, and Tua is one of them. And I'm amused at the way, because he was so sure that Tua is not the guy, or he's so sure when he asked me about Tua and Herbert that I'm dead wrong, right? That I picked Tua over Herbert. And it's because, again, while Herbert is the more fantastic talent over Tua, there's no doubt about it. See, as I tell you about Andy Dalton and Tua, you kind of see almost the same kind of level of talent. Not quarterback, but talent. And then I look at Herbert and Tua, and there's a huge difference in talent. Herbert's a much better athlete. Herbert has a much better arm. I get all of that. Doesn't make you a better quarterback. And that's the part where people like my man Joe and others, Joe Rose too, by the way. I guess it must be a Joe thing. And so you find those people that fall in love with Herbert's physical ability, but they went and saw past the quarterback and they didn't really look at the quarterback. How is he in clutch moments? How does he perform in when he's trailing? How does he perform in key moments of the game? And constantly Justin Herbert fails in those areas. That's the difference with him and a guy like Tua. 4th and 7, 3rd and 22. Coming off the bench, winning a national championship. Some guys are wired differently. Some guys see things that other guys don't see, and the quarterback position is one where you're viewing the field and watching your players run their routes. But you also have to envision where they're going to be, because they might be running this way and then they cut, and you know that the play is for over here. So you've got to envision how it's going to develop. You know what it's a lot like? I'll give you an analogy that's a real trip. A weatherman. A weatherman is a lot like a quarterback, because they got to see how this cold front and this trough is going to affect this storm, and then they've got to put it in motion to then see where the storm is going to be. So then they have to then forecast it to you and tell you that, hey, you see this storm down here in the Caribbean? It's headed to South Florida. It's going to make a curve up this way, and it's going to head into South Florida. And sure enough, it does. Why? Because they were able to anticipate it. That's what the quarterback has to do. He has to figure out the safety that's a trough, the corner that's a cold front, and then the storm that's the receiver, and where he's going to be and where the trough and the front are going to be and how close they're going to be to the receiver. And so remember that play that I bragged about a couple weeks back, and I couldn't get Poupart to agree with me because it was between four guys. Then a couple days later, Kurt Warner is going, that's one hell of a throw. The same throw I talked about. So that throw was in a second window. So the quarterback had to anticipate the route through two windows. And he chose not to throw it in the first window. He chose to throw it in the second window. But there has to be anticipation before you even throw it into that second window, because it's such a finite amount of time that you're open that you've got to thread it right in there. That's forecasting. When I look at Andy Dalton, I don't see a lot of forecasting. When I look at Justin Herbert, I don't see a lot of balls and some forecasting. Tua, balls for days. Days. Nobody blows out their hip and comes back to play football if you don't have balls. Nobody says, I blew out my ankle. No, let's do this. Let's wrap it with a titanium rod so it's stronger than ever and it won't happen to me again. That's dedication to what you want to do. No, but he's not tough enough. Remember that one? Let's see. So Herbert is like the good-looking actor being a weatherman because of their looks, while Tua is like Brian Norcross. Right. Yeah, he's a weatherman, not a meteorologist. That's what you're looking for, Eddie. All you got to do is when you're watching the weather, it'll say weatherman, or does it ever say weatherwoman? I don't know. But either way, but when they're meteorologists, it'll say meteorologist, because you know why they want that title? Because they want you to know they went to school for it. Because there's a lot of people that they're just called weathermen, and they didn't graduate from school as a meteorologist. They might have been doing some broadcasting or this and that, and then they learned about the weather. So they're weather forecasters and they're weathermen, but they're not meteorologists. So there you go. Tua is the meteorologist of quarterbacks. Herbert and Andy Dalton and Ryan Tannehill, they're just weathermen. That's all. But Tua knows where the storm is coming. That's the difference. Big O, did you hear the Dolphins might be in the Shaq Thompson trade discussions? No, I did not. Who said that? That's what I'd like to know. Is that like a friend of yours that told you at the water cooler, or is that like a legitimate source that is putting Dolphins and Shaq together? All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, hopefully Cameron Wolf will be joining us. We will unleash the Wolf Pack. Ooh, Polkadot founder Gavin Wood steps down as CEO. Very, very interesting. I know the other guy, I forgot his name now, is really the kind of the head cheese of Polka Dot. And Gavin is like the number 2 guy, but yeah. Interesting. Gavin was with Ethereum for a short time. I think like 6-9 months or something like that. He wasn't with them a long time. So he's not really a co-founder of it. You know what I'm saying? Interesting. Just saw that in the news. All right, let's take a quick break. Give me a couple minutes here. When we come back, we will unleash the Wolf Pack with Cameron Wolf right here on the Big O Radio Show live from Homestead, Miami Speedway.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed. They're breaking into my house! Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slowman's, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right, there he is, locked and loaded and looking styling. You're styling today.
Yeah, man, a little bit. Got to do a little bit of TV action here. So throwing on a little suit and tie and getting ready for my day. So,
that was Sean goes, oh, he's sharp. And I said, well, he's probably got TV.
Yeah, different than my usual t-shirts, right? I look typical, not as slobby as I usually look, because that's what you're trying to say, huh?
Well, no. I'm more of the slob, but I'm just because Sean was thinking like you were dressing up for us. I'm like, no, dude, it's not for us.
Yeah, no. I'm going right here to this backdrop in probably about 20-25 minutes to set up for TV. So yep, you get the suit, you get suited cam today.
All right, so it looks to you like there's going to be no Austin Jackson, right? I mean, you don't practice Thursday, no side on Friday. Looks like that high ankle sprain. I don't know if there was a setback or not, because he kind of sounded, one of the things that Mike has kind of burned himself with is timelines, right?
Yeah.
He was so positive about Byron Jones, and then that didn't happen, and then kind of gave us a little oomph last week about, well, Austin Jackson's practicing, and so he's got to be kind of careful with these timelines.
Right. I think you learn stuff as a new head coach, right? He's trying to be forthright, which we appreciate in the media. And because you remember, a lot of coaches, especially the last coach here, used to say day to day on every injury. A guy can have a torn ACL, and it's like he's day to day. And so Mike McDaniel's trying to help us out a little bit. Hey, this guy will be back by then. This guy will be out, a couple of weeks. And so I appreciate it. But sometimes with injuries, you get yourself caught up in that perspective. And like you said, Byron Jones is a perfect example of that. That was something that, they expected him back by camp. And there are things that happen. Like, I think there are things that happened in this Byron Jones situation that have, impacted his impact. But same with Austin Jackson. You say, hey, IR, people think 4 weeks. And when you start practicing, you say that, and then your offensive coordinator says, we're optimistic, and then you don't see him for 2 weeks after, people were like, what happened? And so I think for all of these things, you just kind of want to make sure you get guys fully healthy. I mean, we saw it with Armstead. You don't want guys lingering with injuries so that it gets worse. Like Teron indicated, his has got worse through playing with it. And so you give him essentially 2 weeks off, and ideally he comes back and can play the rest of the season. So a lot of these things are kind of subjective rather than we hope that it's, is it 2 weeks? Is it 4 weeks? Like, what is it? That's sort of my deal there. But I think, like most things, first-time head coach, once he gets a little bit more time, a little bit more years, unfortunately, he'll probably be less forthright on injuries, and he'll be more exact and precise on what the timelines are.
All right, so I asked Poupart this. I want to get your feeling on this. How long is the leash left on Liam Eichenberg before Robert Jones gets a shot?
Yeah, it's interesting. I'd imagine that they're giving Robert reps in practice. I think that the element that's hard here is that Liam Eichenberg is a guy that you ideally need not only for now, but in the future. And so you have to figure out if this guy can play or not. If you bench him, it's hard for him to come back from that. Like, if you're benching him at guard, you're essentially saying we're done with him unless an injury happens. And so I think that from a front office standpoint, they're probably wanting to avoid that and really get a true answer on him. But I think from a team and a coaching perspective, you have to figure out, is this guy limiting us in their ability to win? The other element of this, and I talked about this in camp, is the chemistry. So you could say on paper, hey, Robert Jones may be a better fit, but does he have the reps next to Teron Armstead and Connor Williams? Maybe he might be individually a better blocker, but maybe together in unison, it may not flow as well. And so, like I said, if you make that move, it's such a drastic move for a young player that you may never get Liam back, mentally from that sort of thing. And so I think when they make that move, they've got to be sure. And I think maybe it's a little too early. Now, that being said, could they do something like replacing a Greg Little? I could see that being an option, and maybe Brandon Shell, who is now up to shape, maybe he comes in, but that's a different situation where you have a veteran guy in Greg Little who's probably not in your future long-term versus a guy like Liam Eichenberg, who you spent a second-round pick and traded up to get, and you're hopeful that he will be, even though he hasn't shown it so far in his career.
All right, I'm sure you've gotten DMs and texts and all that stuff. Dolphin fans are pissed, and they should be pissed, and they should be frustrated. The way things were handled with Teddy, the way the things were handled with Tua, and then they watch the way things are handled with Pickett this week, where he was cleared right away to be in practice and play. Your thoughts on all of the clumsiness of the NFL with all of this?
Yeah, it was a surprise to me. You know, I went into the start of the week expecting that Mitch Trubisky would be the starter here. Just kind of what we've seen from the concussion deal here in Miami. I don't know that there's been a lot of players. Actually, I know that there hasn't been a lot of players who have cleared the concussion protocol within a week, and especially for him to be doing it as quickly as it was. So it surprised me. But what I will say is a lot of stuff in this concussion protocol things have surprised me. Like, I've learned there are things that are in my expertise and things, I don't know if you got like a tornado going on there.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I have an F-14 flying above.
But I've learned, like, over the last 2 or 3 weeks dealing with this concussion stuff, there's more stuff I don't know than I do. And so this honestly is not my expertise. I thought that a guy would be out at least a week, but he was cleared to practice by Wednesday. And I will say, like, Dolphins fans want to make that comparison and say, oh, the Steelers are doing something wrong. Well, from what I understand, Tua actually went to Pittsburgh, and some of the people he saw were the same people the Steelers players see there. So those are the experts, the people who cleared him as independent doctors. And so I don't think the Steelers, doctors are doing anything wrong here. I think there's just a lot of stuff we maybe don't know. I don't know what the mitigating circumstances were that forced Teddy to sit out. Maybe it was the fact that he was seen with a sign of ataxia, or maybe that I would be speculating at this point to say I know. I do know that the Steelers reporter has asked Mike Tomlin about it several times, and so he was grilled pretty good about it, and his stance was pretty straight line. I am not a doctor. The doctors told me he was clear, he was good to practice, and so he's out there to practice. And so that's sort of what Mike McDaniel said with Tua. The only difference is that Tua, obviously got hurt the next Thursday. And so, I don't know. I think that this is a situation where, because of the Tay and Tua situation, Dolphins fans are going to be upset. I think more likely than not that there's no wrongdoing here, but it does seem, at least from the optic standpoint, there should be some clarity on what the timeline should be. It shouldn't be different for two different situations, especially one in Teddy where, the team said he didn't have a concussion at all. And so he essentially missed the whole week for,
no reason.
Yeah.
For no reason. Hell, he missed the whole game for no reason.
Right.
He should have come back to that game. There was no ataxia and all that. And I think, I can't blame Dolphin fans for being incredibly pissed off at the inconsistencies of the way that is all being handled. And, listen, man, I just, the problem with all of that is that everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part that we're going to have to understand, and we're going to have to come to grips that some guys will be like Ethan Carter, and some guys will be like Tua. Tua seems to be like the dude that overcomes this stuff really quickly.
Right.
We're all wired differently, my man.
Right. And even Tua, like, people, kind of make the quick notion because of what appeared to happen in the Bills game and then what happened to the Bengals game. But this Sunday night will be 3.5 weeks removed from game action from the Bengals game for Tua.
24 days.
And so, so even if it's still been time, like, even though Tua, is recovered and he's a fast healer, I do think that he's taken 3.5 weeks, which is, a lot of care for a lot of players. Most players, I'd say, miss an average of 7 to 10 days with the protocol. And so obviously his was more significant. He had to be taken to the hospital, that sort of thing. But, it sounds like the Dolphins have done due diligence. They sent him to other doctors in Pittsburgh and Detroit. And so, obviously there's always a chance he gets hurt again, but it seems like the Dolphins have done right by this. And yeah, I mean, I get it from Dolphins' perspective. You want everything to be even. I just think that with things like concussions, it's an inexact deal. And I think people would love for it to be more black and white. Like, you leave Sunday, you're not playing the next Sunday. Where it's right now, it seems a little bit more vague, and the Dolphins feel like they got the short end of the stick. Dolphins fans do. Yeah.
And by the way, in the middle of the interview, when I was doing the thing like this, I was
taking pictures.
I was just being childish. They were taking pictures, and I was just adding the feathers above their head. So that's what it was. So that's why. So, and by the way, apparently it worked. So because they were kind of laughing at that. All right. Injury wise, what's the one injury we should be concerned about?
Yeah, I think the good injury, I'll start there. Teron Armstead, it looks like he's going to play on Sunday, which is a huge deal. Like Tua obviously is a huge factor. He was a big reason why they were 3-0 and why they were 0-3 without him essentially for much of those games. But Teron Armstead, it's such a huge cog in this offense. We've seen over the last couple of weeks when he's been hurt, just how the offensive line decimated without him. And so if he's back, he said his functionality was impacted by the injury. Now he's actually practicing for the first time in over a month. He hadn't practiced since the Patriot week. And that's wild in week 1. And so he's playing through it without practice. Now he's practicing. So maybe he's even better health-wise than he was from week 2 to 5 and 6. And so that's the good news. I'd say the most concerning, I would say, is on the defensive side of the ball, particularly at the cornerback position. They haven't really made any outside moves. I think there's probably a likelihood they promote one of their corners, maybe Tino Ellis, who's on the practice squad. But right now, you've got two guys who, Keon Crossan, Kader Kohu, both of those guys dealing with injuries. There hasn't been an official call there. They really need those guys, at least one of them, and ideally both of those guys to play because you're playing a team in the Steelers that has 3 receivers and Deontay Johnson and George Pickens and Chase Claypool to really test your depth. And so the Dolphins, Mike McDaniel doesn't seem super concerned about it, but, I'm a little concerned and especially a team that blitzes and runs as much man as they do, they really don't have much margin of error. So, Emmanuel Ogbah's also questionable. That's one we're going to watch, probably go up to game time. But I think the corners and their health there is going to be the big deal to watch.
All right. What are you, who, well, by the way, before, see if you agree with the rest of us. Who's playing right tackle?
I don't know for sure, but I would probably start Brandon Shell at right tackle.
Okay, all right, you all agree. So it's the worst kept secret out there. Okay,
yeah, that would be my view. Yeah.
Okay, all right, we all agree, pretty much that Brandon Shell should be starting over Greg Little at right tackle. I think there's a little extra buzz in the building about him. They're like, in other words, from what I'm hearing, there's a pleasant buzz in the building that they found him off the street. In other words,
right. Yeah, and I mean, this is a guy who started games, for last 6 or 7 years. So it's a situation where a lot of these guys, they're looking for a starting job or a specific role. And at some point you just figure, hey, I'm assigned to it. If I want to play, I got to play. I mean, we saw it with Chris Harris playing last night. Chris Harris, the cornerback, that was longtime Broncos and Chargers guy. This is a guy who has been a starter his whole career, signed to a practice squad like week 3 or 4 once he realized he wasn't going to get the starter role or the starter money. Brandon Shell, probably the same thing. And so, I think that he's to my opinion, a better player than Greg Little. Like, it's just simple as that. Like, if you put him against an edge rusher 10 times, Brandon Shell may stop the player 8 times, and Greg Little may stop him 6 times. And so I think it's a noticeable difference. And so once he gets caught up and once he gets more comfortable in the scheme, which it seems like he's getting closer to that area, I think that becomes a pretty easy decision that Brandon Shell should be your right tackle when Austin Jackson's hurt and your swing tackle even once Austin Jackson's back healthy.
What are you picking?
I think the Dolphins should win this game. Tua's back. I think the offense will get a burst back to not necessarily fully back to where they were in the first 3 games, but I think you'll see a deep shot or 2 connected with Tyreek or Jalen Waddle, and I think they'll put up maybe 24 points up there on the board. The defense holds its own. I'd say maybe a 24-17 win for the Dolphins.
All right, 24-17. I'll take that. Follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolf. Catch his work there at the NFL Network. Always getting it done. Cam, appreciate you, my brother. We'll catch up on Sunday night, late Sunday night. Hopefully we're talking about a victory.
All right, now. Appreciate you.
You got it. There you go. Cameron Wolf, man. Good stuff there, as always. That is our KSDT, CPA, Miami Dolphins, and NFL report. My helicopter's there? Okay. All right, because I was driving in, but I'm flying out. That's, So I didn't know I was that kind of an intimidating factor that they would send out F-15s here to, Stop me. That's I've never seen that. So impressive. All right, good stuff. I like it. Yeah, Homestead Air Force Base. That's why you had the F-15 fly over us. You know, that's the good thing about being out here.
I think they're getting set up for the practice flyovers for the.
Well, no, not only that, they have their own practice too. They're flying. If you live down south here, you see your share.
I see them every once in a while coming around over by the Opelika Airport area thing.
Opelika?
Yeah, they'll fly around and.
Really?
Very seldom, but
okay,
every once in a while.
Okay.
More so when the air shows.
I know the people that live down here. They're seeing fighter jets.
Sure, every day.
Practically every day. Yeah, practically.
Yeah.
You know,
mine's more when the air shows. I know when air shows are in town because
they are badass.
I start seeing them doing the big loops.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you. Alan, come on over here, bro. Join us. And we're out here, of course. Bailey Curry is driving the KSDT number 6 car. You're going to see it this week. Number 4, I'm sorry. That's right. Vargas goes 6. That's right. Well, you know, I got, I should remember 4. That's my favorite number. So, how you feeling? But those other teams. And so I said, I loved baseball as growing up as a kid. And I said, yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm not following the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Orioles and the Reds that everybody follows. I'm going Philadelphia Phillies. Mike Schmidt. Mike Schmidt was my guy.
Mike Schmidt.
Yeah. And Mr. Muecas, which was Steve Carlton. If, Carlton was on the mound and he made like 87 faces, I'm sure batters were constantly insulted, like, are you making faces at me, bro? You know, that kind of stuff. But anyway, so I figured a 1 and a 7. Nah, I'm not doing that. Going 4.
Going 4.
Going 4.
Yeah, I grew up where
just that guy that goes against the grain.
You got it. I grew up in Colorado, so we didn't have the Rockies at the time. So moving down here, you had the Orioles,
right?
But there was no pro team, so you either had WOR or WTBS,
right?
So you had to go Mets or Braves.
Right. Or CIX had the Yanks, right? Didn't Channel 6?
Yeah,
I want to say Channel 6 would
Tuesday nights.
Yeah, they would carry the Yanks. I remember they would carry Notre Dame basketball.
Random stuff. So my best friend at the time went for the Mets. I got to go Braves.
Right.
Didn't mean I like them. I just got to be completely opposite. And then so Dale Murphy and Glenn Hubbard and Pascual Perez.
I remember winning a bet. I remember winning a bet against my dad who would hit more home runs, Dale Murphy or Mike Schmidt. And because he would pick Dale Murphy and he goes, oh, he's going to get more than your guy. And I go, no.
Mike Schmidt was a beast.
Mike Schmidt was awesome, dude. He never gets enough. He has 11 gold gloves because everybody talks about his hitting, home runs. He was a gold glover, dude. He had 11 gold gloves.
He was a vacuum cleaner. He worked that line on third base. And then I grew up.
To me, he's the best all-around third baseman. Nettles was probably the best defensive third baseman I had ever seen. But
Schmidt, he could work that line. He didn't get anything down that line. And then before I moved down here when I was in middle school, I grew up out west. So it was the Dodgers, the Astros, the Monday Night Baseball.
Right.
It was always the West Coast teams. Moving here, I became a Braves fan.
Right. And
before they were good.
And there were a lot of people that became Braves fans down here because of the TV coverage, just like the Orioles because of spring training. Yeah. Hell, I remember every spring training.
Stadium.
Yeah, every spring spring training, my dad and I would go stand in line, and we get the Orioles Yankees tickets because he was a Yankee guy, and we get the Orioles Phillies tickets because obviously I was a Phillies guy. So yeah, those were the days.
And really after that, it was just going to UM baseball. because there wasn't anything local. So you would go after baseball practice, you would go to watch UM, catch a couple innings, get a milkshake, go home.
So you got to enjoy this, because Jeffrey's Mr. Jet Setter. So he's all over the place, going to tracks all over the world. He follows the cars all over. The rest of you guys are here at home. So when the track, when the race comes to you, you got to love it, right?
Yeah. So when the race comes, he splashes his lavish lifestyle on us. No, he takes care of us. But we enjoy being out here. For the last 2 days, we've actually been volunteering with the NASCAR Foundation. So yesterday we built 100 bikes, and then today we'll be with the Speediatrics. So it's nice. We get to enjoy the race. We bring our staff out here, but we come and volunteer. We get involved. So it's a little bit of everything.
I like it. I like it, man. And you feel good about Bailey this week?
I think so. He's got to run clean, and stay in the pack and have a good car. And he's got the talent. You just got to have the equipment, and got to run a clean race.
Yeah, I love this track, dude.
Yeah,
this is such a terrific track, and the way they structured everything for me. I coming here for the last 30 years and watching it grow from where it was at the beginning to where it is now.
Yeah.
That they've upgraded the racetrack itself, and then all the amenities inside and the grandstand and expanding and everything.
They've done a good job.
They've done a great job, man.
We were just speaking of the F-15s flying over. We were talking about it coming down, that Hurricane Andrew really kind of set this place back 20 years.
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah,
the base was 40,000 people worked there, but the track and everything they were going to build hotels, and they were going to put, and then, it almost like had to go reset. So I'm glad to see it where it's at now.
And now the community has made it back since then.
Yeah.
Because obviously all the homes that were destroyed, but now they have constructed a ton of homes.
But the base itself used to be a monster base.
Right.
And
everybody
I knew growing up, somebody worked there.
I went to South Florida Military Academy and Continental Military Institute. And so
was
we
that
used
by
to
choice or forced?
Forced. So we went. We would come here to Homestead, and we were part of the. What's that called? You were like
ROTC, or
it wasn't an ROTC, but I was like, I don't know what it was, but I was part of the
correctional
some
facility?
kid military thing that
correctional cleanup. No,
I don't know, not correctional, not yet. That'll come soon.
Yeah.
That's eventually it's going to happen.
Yeah, probably community service.
I forgot what it was called. Like, I don't know. But anyway, we would go always to the base, and then we would go shop there too. So you would get like a 20%
commissary. And
yeah, you would get a discount there, and you would buy all your military stuff and all that kind of crap. So it was cool. I used to love going to the base all the time.
Yeah.
I haven't been to that base in decades.
It's a skeleton crew. It's like a scramble.
I would imagine.
Yeah. But when it was a thriving, I had a lot
remember.
of friends. We'd go bowling there. We'd go to the Commons. It was a city.
I know.
You got dropped off at the gate. You got an ID. You got picked up by your friend that lived there. And you lived, it was like it was a whole town. It was a city. It was amazing.
Forgot the name of the damn thing. It's not Civil Air Patrol. Dolphin Dan, you bastard. You got it.
Civil Air Patrol.
Civil Air Patrol. That's it. The CAP. Yes, that was it. The Civil Air Patrol. Nice job, Dolphin Dan.
There you go. Bonus points.
I love that. Yes, that's it. The Civil Air Patrol. I was part of that. That was fun.
But were you learning how to fly and everything, or?
I got my pilot's license.
So you were part of this.
No, it was a little after. It was a few years after that because I was young.
Civil Air Patrol ground crew.
Right, basically.
Yeah.
Basically,
Ground
it's a program they had for kids.
No, yeah.
Is what it was. It was a program for kids that maybe wanted to join the military and they wanted to find out more.
Right.
So then you'd go and you'd take tours and you'd go to experience all kinds of different things on the Air Force Base and all that kind of stuff. And since you were in a military school, so that was kind of their thing. You know what I mean?
Kind of pushing you.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's neat.
Yeah. It was actually visiting the base was back in those days.
But I mean, it was a city. Yeah. It was a complete city.
Yeah, dude, we're talking 40 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm 56. No, more than 40 years ago. Dude.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's like 44 years ago. I was like 12 years old or something.
Yeah. So
I remember 13
went to,
or something. Yeah.
I went to junior high before it was middle school in Cutler Ridge and half the kids went there somehow was affiliated to the base, parents,
Right.
or they worked as civilians, or they were working there. So I had a lot of friends. We go play at the gym, basketball, and it was a complete city. They had a movie theater, bowling alley.
I know.
I mean, absolutely everything.
No, I remember. Dolphin Dan says, I was too, bro. So he was also in the Civil Air Patrol.
Yeah.
We had our little IDs and everything. I still remember the ID and all that stuff. That was good. Big O was flying high on some Chiba. No. Too young for that in those days, man. That would be really crazy to be doing stuff like that. Big O, I used to live down there, and about every 2 to 3 hours, there'd be a flyover. It's practice when the U.S. is in any situation, meaning threatened, it ramps up. The only thing is, I don't know how much
It's
more.
like a scramble team that if they get a threat, they're in the air in minutes.
Right.
So they're like the Southern Command scramble. I don't know what it's called, but they get a call and they're in the air.
I know that we also have it in the Keys, right? There's another base,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know where they separate the two and all that.
And I think it's just threat. Get out, and so they're just practicing, getting ready. And I used to have a neighbor that worked there, and they were in the air in minutes. Whenever the alarm went off, and then when the threat was over, they would come back and just maintenance and keep everything going. So.
Okay. All right. Ready to go. Am I supposed to wear that while I'm doing the? Yeah. I don't think my big head will fit in that thing, anyways. We have a star amongst us, by the way.
So I got grounded.
Yes. Yeah. We're gonna ground you.
We have higher talent. So
We're gonna ground you. We're gonna use Air Force terms. We're gonna ground
I
you.
appreciate that.
Bailey Curry is ready to race in and take over the
All right, I'll
position.
give you that.
Since he's ready to, he's gonna win the race.
That's the plan.
You're right. You got to win, right?
I'm gonna try to everything I can.
How you feeling, Bailey? You feeling good?
I'm good. Yeah.
Car's
flew in
looking
this
sharp.
morning. Yeah, it looks really good. The car looks good. We got the new helmet. It looks really good.
That helmet's built for me, bro. It's got an exhaust out of the head, and that's all I do is spew, hot
There's a
air.
show
So
on here.
my wife says
Pretty sweet looking.
all I have is hot air. So that helmet is perfect for me. It'll let out the hot air that I'm constantly spewing. That's good. That's nice.
Honestly, it makes me nervous just kind of holding it like this.
That's a badass helmet, bro.
It is nice.
That is a badass helmet.
Yeah.
Let me see it. Let me show the folks. Look at this. This is what Bailey Curry's going to be wearing, huh? This is what I need at home. See? That's the exhaust right there for all the hot air I spew. And I am really good at that.
That's actually an intake if we're being 100% accurate.
Yeah, but not for me, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, I got you.
For you, it's an intake. Keep you cool and all that
helps a ton.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah, keep you. But wait a minute. So it keeps you cool?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, it's crazy how much you don't really realize it when you're going until it falls off. And then
Okay,
it feels
so
like a
I don't
heater's
know if
blowing in
this is
there.
just a 56-year-old man talking, but dude, if I'm hanging out in a cool place for a while, I got to go to the bathroom. So, it's not kosher for an older man like myself in cold. I'm visiting bathrooms left and right.
Doesn't normally happen in the race car. Usually sweating enough.
Yeah. Do you guys you don't drink anything, or what is it you do? How do you got to hydrate, right?
You definitely got to hydrate, but you can't overdo it, and you can't cram. You can't cram it all at the very end because then you're gonna have to go to the bathroom. I've done it before. I've had to go in the car, and you can't. And the seatbelts, it hurts really bad. I don't like it. But usually the routine is hydrate best you can, national anthem, porta potty, race car. That's the strategy.
Okay. So right after the national anthem, if we shine the cameras, there's 400 racers running into porta potties.
Yeah. Usually they're aligned. There's a line everywhere you go. Every porta potty down pit road.
You're not supposed to wait for you gotta race to run.
Well, it's other race drivers. Yeah,
Okay.
you can't. Usually the pit crew guys help you out. Like, hey, yeah, go ahead. Like, if another driver, they're like, yeah, I got to get in just like you do. So
Right. Exactly.
you got to wait.
You got to wait. Wow. That is how long have you held it?
I ran my first 500-mile race at Texas, and I don't remember, a couple of years ago, and around lap 100, I needed to go. It wasn't good.
Oh. And how many laps is it?
500 milers, like at a mile and a half, 320 something. Yeah, it's a few laps.
Wow. Okay. All right. It's amazing you guys don't do commercials for like Depends.
Yeah. Hey, that's a good marketing idea. I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to write that one down.
Depends. What are you guys doing? Let's go. It's not just for old people. It's for race car drivers. Let's go. Come on. Runners too.
Yeah.
Although no runners, no, because then they're carrying the weight while they're running.
Exactly. And
Just
really,
better
the
roll
issue
down
in the
leg.
race car is the seatbelts like push on your stomach so much you
Oh
can't.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So describe this track to us. What's what do you like about this track? What is challenging about the Homestead Miami Speedway?
The most challenging thing is when the track wears out and your tires wear out and you got to get up there right on the fence and run around the wall, pack in the air, doing all the right stuff to get as close as you can but not hit it. But I love this racetrack. It is slick. It's usually hot down here. Multiple grooves of racing. You can make different things happen with your race car.
Now, wait a minute. Let me slow you down a second because we're idiots now. You're the smart guy. You're the pro. So when you tell us that you're low on tires and you're not trying to hit the wall, walk us through how is the car reacting because you're low? Because you're making it sound like it's a little bit more unstable at this moment.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. So there you go. See, the idiot figured it out. All right. So tell me.
Yeah, I mean, this place, I don't know what it is about the asphalt here, but it wears tires out quickly. Like, I mean, in 10 laps, you'll lose a second and a half per lap on speed. So once you go for a 40, 50 lap run, your tires are junk. You're sliding around everywhere. And but the trick to that and the way to kind of remedy that is to get up next to the wall, because the closer you can get to the wall, it kind of pressurizes the air between the car and the wall. And you can kind of run on that cushion of air. And it's very interesting, but it's hard to do. It's hard to find the cushion.
It's like
and
the
find
drafting is keeping you in there. Is that what you're saying?
It's like like I said,
very interesting.
When you get up close to the wall, it kind of funnels it up next to the car, and it just builds a high pressure zone, and it keeps you off the wall. But you got to not overdo it, but you can't do it too little because then you're letting guys pass you. So it's a very fine line you have to walk, and I'm still learning with it. I mean, I've only raced here a handful of times, and you can always keep learning, obviously, but just trying to find that line, how far you can push it.
Bailey, I love you for that because that is great advice for all of us that drive on I-95.
Yeah.
So, this is now you've, we're all bunched up on I-95. We're all going about 195.
Mm-hmm.
So now I know I got to stay a little closer to the wall so I can kind of control everything. So you're giving us some great tips to fight the traffic on I-95.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It sounds
not
like
just the traffic here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. I just want you to know that. All right. So but when you're in a regular car, how do you not speed, bro?
Oh, I do.
Oh,
it's kind of a bad habit, to be honest. But I try to dial it back. I mean, it is hard, especially, we'll race Saturday and fly back, and I'll get off the plane and I'll be going down the back roads of North Carolina. I'm like, I'm going 85 miles an hour. I should probably back it down. But you guys got to catch yourself sometimes.
Do you recognize that women love speed more than men?
No. Never realized that. No.
I think they do.
All right.
I think they love speed. They don't tell you. They tell you all the right things. But when they're in the middle of it, I think that they like it.
I don't know. Whenever I'm driving, my girlfriend closes her eyes most of the time. So
she's with a professional race car driver.
That's what I say. I'm like, I do this for a living. You don't gotta be scared.
I mean, if anybody I want to cruise around with, it's with you. I want Bailey Curry driving me around. I don't care. Once I was on the Autobahn.
Mm-hmm.
I was 18 years old. We rented a Ford Fiesta, and I shit you not. It's me, my dad, and his wife. And we're in a Ford Fiesta with like 5 pieces of luggage because we're going to Europe. So we're doing about 120. Okay. On a Ford Fiesta, which is like, but it's in Europe, they're a little bit more jacked up, the cars. Mm-hmm. So I'm doing 120. I'm like, yeah, all right, cool. I'm telling my dad, you should have rented a better car so we can go faster. He goes, that's the reason I didn't rent a better car because I know you would want to go faster. And some guy just zips by me. And I'm telling you, it's Bailey Curry. Because he's smoking a pipe. He's in a BMW, like a 7 Series, and he's doing like 170, and his wife is next to him putting on lipstick. It was
That's awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, and bikes are passing me, you know, and I'm doing 120, dude. So they're flying.
Oh yeah.
So have you been to the Autobahn?
No,
yet?
I haven't, but it sounds like I might need to go. It sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like a drug. That's not a drug, but it's kind of a drug for us. It's called speed.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to legally speed, the Autobahn is the place, my brother.
I have to check that out.
There's no speed limit there.
Yeah. No, I knew that. I just never really been out of the country at all. So.
And don't rent a Ford Fiesta, baby.
No, yeah, I wouldn't. I'd have to step it up a little bit.
A Chevy Camaro?
Maybe even something a little sportier than that. I don't know.
Maybe a little Corvette action.
That new Corvette's pretty cool.
Maybe a
with the
little
flat plane
Porsche,
crank. Yeah,
something
like that.
But some that you need, that you have the need for speed. You know what I mean? Don't get a Ford Fiesta. That's the only thing I can tell you. That's for sure. All right. So what's your favorite part of racing? Because there's the preparation, there's the simulation, there's the classroom stuff, there's the testing, there's the qualifying, there's the race itself. So talk to us about that. I know it's not talking to us media idiots.
It's just the racing, the going out there and racing with other guys. And also I love qualifying too. Qualifying something that it's the fastest you're going to go all weekend, the hardest you're going to push the car all weekend. And go out there and get all you can while you can. And it's always something I've enjoyed. And I feel like I've gotten pretty good at it.
It's probably the safest part of the race, right? That you're all alone. You're kind of in
I don't
control.
know. I don't know. I mean, because
really, talk to me about.
I mean, a lot of them.
You're in traffic.
Like I said, you're when you don't, especially with this little practices we get now, you're pushing the car way harder than you push it in all at practice, and you don't know. I'm gonna drive this car off in here 5 car lengths deeper than I did in practice, and I hope it sticks. It might not. I might go down here and crash, but most of the time you make it through, and you're like, man, I should have gone 6 car lengths. But like I said, qualifying is just fun. I've always enjoyed it, even back when I race local stuff, short tracks, just because you put new tires on and you're 10 foot tall and bulletproof, and you can go do whatever you want. So it's really cool.
JD Motorsports, Bailey Curry joining us, the number 4 car. You can check it out tomorrow here. You'll see the beautiful KSDT CPA logo on it too. Hopefully you can get that win. When was the moment you caught the bug? Do you remember when you said, this is what I want to do?
Man, I really don't know from when I first started. I mean, I'd imagine it's from the first time I sat in a go-kart at Hill Country Kart Club in New Braunfels, Texas. But I don't know. My dad raced when I was a kid, so I mean, I'd run around on a yard go-kart from the time I was like 4 years old. So I know that it was whenever I realized I got like I could be a NASCAR driver bug and like try to really go chase the career was probably, I don't know, my second truck race. The first one kind of sucked, didn't go very well, and I went to Phoenix and we finished 10th. And it was like, I want to go do this. I really don't want to do anything else. This is what I want to do with my life. And been on the chase ever since, really. I've been fortunate enough to have a deal with Johnny Davis this year and racing his car, thanks to people like Jeff with KSDT. And it's been really cool, man. I don't know what else I'd want to do. So,
okay. You got something there, Sean?
This might be a little bit on a serious note with everything that happened with the Bubba Wallace incident and with Kyle Larson. Does there come a point to where you know that fine line? How do you control that? I guess would be my question. Just because week in and week out things happen on the track, but how do you end up controlling that and not having that incident that happened last Sunday?
I mean, really, when I think about things like that, I just think I don't want to tear Johnny's race car up. I'm not going to go retaliate on this guy and tear his car up, and then next week he's going to be pissed off at me and come junk me for no reason, and now Johnny's out 2 race cars, not just 1. So that's really what I think about. I mean, if I'm really angry about something, it'll happen after the race. I'm not gonna go wreck Johnny's race cars. That's not fair to him. I mean, it's not his fault what happened. He's not even has nothing to do with it. So
And it affects everybody, not just the racer.
Exactly.
It affects the team,
Yeah,
the
the team.
mechanics, everybody.
Exactly.
You're really screwing everybody when you do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just tearing up race cars for no reason.
Expensive.
Yeah, that it is. That it is.
Yeah. This a couple weeks ago, the Miami Dolphins. I don't know. Do you follow football a lot?
Yeah, not a lot, but some.
What's your favorite team, by the way?
Dallas Cowboys.
Okay. So Tua Tagovailoa suffered an ugly concussion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now he's back. He's going to play this Sunday night. And, I find there was a lot of sensationalism behind it because, he chose to play this sport that's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
You chose something that's incredibly dangerous also.
Mm-hmm.
Firemen have to walk into burning buildings. Policemen have to put on a holster every day, and they don't know if they're coming home by the end of the day. And so I'm just wondering, what's it like to be in a job where you put your life on the line all the time and things like that? Because I don't do that. I've never done that for 33 years doing radio. He's not doing it, although he was a Marine. He used to paratroop.
Oh, yeah.
I used to jump out of planes. So his crazy ass is just as crazy as you, by the way. He's just not crazy anymore. You are still. So walk us through a career that is dangerous.
Man, to be honest with you, I just don't really ever think about it. Especially once you get in the car, the last thing on my mind is my safety, which might be a problem, but I mean that's just what it is. You might think about certain situations after they happen, or you might think like when you're like in the act of crashing it, like I'll hit you again, like, oh man, this is kind of dangerous.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's I really don't think about it. I mean, it's something that I've never really thought about. These cars in the Xfinity series are so safe, and it's just something you don't really think about. And but it's cool though. I mean, it's
you sound like when I got married.
Yeah.
Yeah. My buddy one of my friends goes to me, so what if you got to get a divorce? I go, dude, I'm not getting married to get a divorce.
Yeah, exactly.
I plan on being with my wife forever. Why am I going to be thinking about divorce? Why would you be? I'm sure a football player isn't thinking about breaking bones. Or anything. I'm sure a cop isn't thinking about getting shot either. At the same time.
As soon as you start thinking about that kind of stuff, that's when it gets in your head, and the likelihood of it happening grows a lot. So
yeah, in other words, confidence can never lack, can never wane.
Exactly.
In something like this, your confidence has to always be at the highest level.
That's right.
All right, Bailey Curry joining us, the number 4 car. You ready for it?
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. I love this racetrack. Like I said, it's slick, slide around all over the place. It's a lot of fun. So ready to go out there, get on track this afternoon, and go get after it in the race tomorrow.
All right, good luck, Bailey. Thanks for joining us,
Absolutely.
my brother.
Thank y'all for having me on.
And we'll be rooting for you tomorrow, my friend. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
You got it. There you go, Bailey Curry, the number 4 car. You'll see the beautiful KSDT logo on it, baby. Thank you, Bailey. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. What else do we have going on here in the world of sports? Let's see. Same thing happened to me. I got off in Frankfurt, a BMW 3 Series 140 in the left lane. The car behind me, a half mile back, flashing me to move over. He stood me up, and then he blew past me like the wind. You ever been on the Autobahn yet, Sean? So then that's another thing we have to do on our show. Get on the Autobahn and broadcast from the Autobahn. Okay?
I got an idea. We'll take the Winnebago. We'll broadcast from the top of it as we're driving down the Autobahn.
What we do is we have Bailey Curry drive our Winnebago on the Autobahn, right? And then we're broadcasting. We have a professional driver.
All right. I have no worries.
So Bailey can handle Winnebago at 150 miles an hour. He told me that. So he's ready to go.
We'll make it happen.
There you go. You ever seen a Winnebago do 150 miles an hour? That's because you've never seen Bailey Curry drive a Winnebago. That only Winnebagos go 150 miles an hour and Bailey Curry's behind it, baby. And we're going to be broadcasting in it. On it, over it, everywhere. Maybe they'll tie me to the roof while we're doing it. I'll just be broadcasting, having some fun. Remember, tomorrow we're at Walk-Ons in Kendall. Okay? pre and post game show. Get you ready for the Duke Miami game, and we'll wrap it up. Mike and myself. We'll have Manny Navarro. Gabby Urrutia is going to. Oh no, actually, Gabby will not be with us tomorrow. He is on daddy duty. Congratulations to Gabby. But we will have more guests for you tomorrow, and more importantly, we're going to be giving away all kinds of prizes, from Perdomo cigars to Canesware, and we're going to have what's it called? Taste testing from Edge Energy Drink. I mean, you're going to love it, folks. So come on out there, join us. It's right on Kendall Drive, right off of Kendall Drive in 162nd, and we'll be out there broadcasting live, starting off at 10:30 in the morning. Kickoff is at noon. Doors open up at 11 in the morning. So come on out there and join us. Car started to float too much and the steering wheel disappeared. Car had 200 in it for sure, not me. All right. Going a car that's going 200 miles an hour. That sounds like a lot of fun. All right, we thank Bailey Curry. We thank Alan Kinko. We thank Jeffrey Taraboulos. We thank Cameron Wolf. We thank Scott Pianowski, Joe Shad, Manny Navarro, Ira Winderman. Did I get everybody? Holy crap. We talked to a lot of people today here, and we had a blast. I love coming to this. I told Sean next year, Mike, you're on your own. You're going to be handling the Canes broadcast next year on your own. I'm going to come out here on Saturday. Maybe the Canes are off that Saturday. I don't know. But I'm going to be here next Saturday for this race.
They got the tech area right there. That's what they're going through right now, the tech for the cars. That's why they're lined up right there.
But you know what I love about all of this? Because, we got the juice that we can get the passes to go hang out there. We'll get in there. We'll be able to go walk around the pits and hang around and all that. And race car drivers, by the way, in general, okay, because nothing's perfect, but in general, good dudes. Right? You would say? In general, good dudes. Good dudes.
And they're made pretty available for pictures and stuff.
Yeah,
Not
that's what I'm saying.
You can talk to them necessarily, but they usually stay outside the garage so you can snap pictures as you walk by with their, their car, the area there. I mean, not all of them are, you can approach because they're still working on their cars and things like that.
Right.
But 100%.
Yeah. Good dudes overall, at least from my experiences. Actually, the ones that were a little touchy in my experiences in the past were the indie guys. The indie guys were a little bit hoi polloi, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's hoity-toity.
Yeah.
Blue collar here. Blue collar guys.
No, and here's and I hate to do this, but it's usually the non-American guys that were kind of standoffish at times that I would run into in the indie.
But it's more like that.
And back in those days, it was indie or kart.
Yeah, the athlete that's been pampered their whole life. That's what usually those guys are, because they've been through each level. They've been fed everything,
Yeah. I got you. I thought that was the car because I saw the coloring, but it wasn't. It was I got you. These guys come sometimes from real humble beginnings.
I mean, some of them again. Some of them
they got to work their asses off just to get the
a lot
sponsors.
Of these guys, yeah,
man.
You start driving go-karts, then you go up to, the different series and
trucks and stuff like that. Yeah.
I mean, there's so many stories where, guys, again, it's one of those things where
sometimes they don't even get the right connection to get the break that they need.
Different cars that are getting pulled over. I thought that was trying to see which one is the
he is in heaven right now.
Oh no, I love these stuff. I love this.
He is in heaven right now. You know what I'm dying to do is get this son of a bitch into wrestling. Like I want him broadcasting at wrestling matches. I want him out there and all that kind of stuff, because I see his face freaking light up when he does that. So just like I'm watching him now, like they're pulling out all these cars right now, and he's just like, checking it all out. So I can tell he's like a kid in a candy store. So it's always good to see that. All right, we are out of here. We thank everybody that joined us as always. We thank Russell Branyan, by the way, and all the great people out here at the Homestead Miami Speedway for making it nice and easy. Russell, thank you, sir. You made it nice and easy for us to come on in and enjoy all of this. We thank all of you for tuning in, as always, and supporting the hell out of this show. We'll be back tomorrow and Sunday. Tomorrow getting you ready for the Canes and Duke, and Sunday getting you ready Sunday night Hey, we get to sleep in a little bit on Sunday. All right. Oh, that's right. You're here with the kid, and then later on in the evening. That's right. Damn. You're a good dad. You're taking care of your kid, which is the most important thing. All right. So we are out of here, but we'll get you ready for Dolphins and for the Canes on Saturday and Sunday. So come back to the platform, and you all be good out there. Be safe. We'll see you tomorrow. Same place, same time, same bat channel. Have a good one.